welcome. Hi, YouTube. I'm Kareem Zamir. Those are the Seekers of Galanti. This is Second Wake. Can you tell I've had 4 cups of coffee today and only 1 energy drink? God, I'm really cutting back. Anyway, this is Second Wake, episode 44? I think it's 44. If it's not 44, future me, edit this out, record yourself saying 40, and then we'll fix it in post. When we last left our dear heroes, the Seekers of Galanti, they were wandering the Fey Wilds on a quest from one and only Montserrat the Glamorous. So with that, they were seeking out and attempting to unmask this would-be pursuer of mine throughout dimensional planes and shifts in existence. They are seeking a knight, most holy and terrible, that is currently after a would-be mirror object of sorts that can reveal and divine the one true path to the goal of one's heart. Of course, they must stop this foul, monstrous person and defeat them, because they want to defeat me and take us off air. They're attempting to censor the radio. And we certainly can't have that. Free speech for all, as I say, here, Montserrat. All right, then. So, as they went and did this task for me, the Seekers of Galanti, of course, have had to utilize a number of their heroic interventing skills, such as swinging swords and shooting arrows. I think one of them punches, maybe. And by doing this, they've defeated a number of truly terrible monstrosity beings, such as gingerbread men and a gummy bear, and I think there was a chocolate bunny? Right. Regardless, they've now defeated these heinous creatures from beyond the Feywield, and certainly are finding themselves now within this candy-coated... Well, is it a village? It's smaller than that. A town? Not enough people for that. Hovel. We'll call it a hovel. And they are now deciding, as the fiery embers of their sinful victory reign true, what comes next. Seekers of Galanti, you find yourselves again once outside this small village. You sit in the middle of town. A bubbling lake of molten chocolate sits in the middle of this candy-coated town. The licorice lanes of the various small passageways between these gingerbread and candy-coated houses all lay broken and beaten. Several divine radiant explosions having toppled their guardian of the area. And of course, a few well-placed fiery bolts immolating the would-be witch of the area. Her now smoldering remains sitting below a floating broom of cinnamon, and a number of other strange and curious things have been discovered, such as the small lupine child of Tabby, a werewolf who has found the party from the dark side of the forest and has promised them passage through her side towards this would-be hero of justice now at the lake. And in doing so and assisting for clearing out this village, they've almost also promised our dear heroes, the Seekers of Galanti, passage and guidance towards an item, a relic of raw, unimaginable strength and prowess that once slew a great being of the forest, and now, freely, theirs to claim should they have the strength to do so. Seekers of Galanti, you find yourself here in town square, and I will do the most stereotypical thing a DM can do. What do you want to do?
I'd like to go look over the witch's remains and her broom.
All right. You walk over and you can see this, what amounts to now a confectionery burned puddle of both kind of like a hard rock candy that is now liquefied into a blister of kind of like crackling and chipped glass almost of a certain variety. The long cotton candy, pink fluffed hair that was once aerated and kind of like overly magical in a sense is now curled and blackened. The smelling of caramelized sugar hangs heavy over her now smoldered and desiccated body. And you look and you can see that there is a large thickly weaved collection of cinnamon that has been bound and shackled by very large looking, almost circular rings that seem to be made of a crystalline gemstone of some sort, but have a sweet smell to them. That is now in the formation of broom, and it hovers softly about 15 feet above the ground. The fire crackles. Sounds like bad macaroni and cheese. Doesn't sound like fire. I gotta get like a... I'm not very good at fire sounds. That's my weakness. D&D. Most common damage type. Poison, fire.
I'll cast Mage Hand and try and move it down.
Okay. You reach up with Mage Hand. You attempt to yank this this floating broom down, and it does not move. It seems to be able to resist the amount of weight that Mage Hand can pull upon it. Almost as if probably more weight than that can sit on this broom and keep in that exact same spot.
Are we intending on taking a proper rest?
Wasn't that the plan?
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, ideally, I think I'd like to take a rest.
I Misty step onto the broom.
You land onto the broom. You feel yourself kind of like take a little bit of weight lifting from your feet and transferring to this kind of cinnamon-like broom. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, fun. Oh, yeah, that is an 18 plus 2 for a 20.
A 20, okay. The broom rocks unevenly, but you manage to shift your weight there for just a moment. You feel the wood kind of twist and ache, and you see for a moment the very front of the broom turn from a very rigid look as it kind of curls up and twists and seems as if a upside down face is now staring at you. These large cinnamon eyes swirling in a mist, almost taking you in and judging you for all that you're worth.
Ah. Well, that shouldn't be surprising. Hello.
You say hello?
Hmm?
You hear, go ahead and make me another dexterity saving throw.
How do you soothe Cinnamon? No. That's a 4 for a total of 6.
The once rigid broom bucks unnaturally so, bending in the middle and then dropping in the center before kicking you off, much like a wild mare or horse ought to. You are sent tumbling down to the ground below and suffer the most painful of 1 point of bludgeoning damage as you land squarely on your rump. You look and you can see this still stationary broom return rigid. Seemingly normal once again.
Broom's a horse.
Maybe you should have asked first. Just maybe no.
Well,
No.
I said hello.
Is that asking?
Did
Yeah,
you
oh.
did you give it a gentle, like, maybe stroke down the back of it?
Try
I
that, yeah.
thought it might have been a bit more intelligent, and then I learned that it was a bit more animal.
It's a broom.
Well,
Can you just ask me if I asked? Why don't you try?
No.
Why don't you
me?
teleport
No.
yourself up there and you do it? You want
I
to
don't
be
think
so...
so. I'm not interested in the broom. You know, that's high up there, and I prefer way down here. Not my cup of tea. But I think you should just try again. You know, maybe this time ask and just, yeah, try that. No, you don't have to. Maybe later.
I'll walk over.
Hey, Dad.
Dad,
Cobalt Jones, you
Dad, are
walk
you
over.
around?
You see kind of peering out from like the other side of this molten, bubbling mess of a chocolate bear. You see Bartholomew Earden kind of walk forward and go, we're still using code names. Yes, Mr. Orville. How may I help you? Son?
I know you speak. I know you speak plenty of languages.
Yes.
Do you speak horse broom or whatever this thing would speak?
What, who has told you that horse broom is a language?
I kind of just assumed.
Okay, well, you know what they say about assuming.
Yeah, I do.
What do they say about assuming?
Makes an ass out of you and I.
There's no I in assume. Yeah, close enough. Yep, we'll call that there. No, but let's see what we can. You see Bartholomew roll up his sleeves. Let's see what we can do about this. And he puts his hands on his hips. He looks up and he goes, "Come down here, Mr. Broom. Get down here!" And he shouts at it, and nothing happens.
I'm gonna
Shoot.
start talking
It might
to
be
it
a
in
missus.
Sylvan.
Yeah, that
Okay.
language.
You call out in Sylvan. What do you say to it?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
You call out to it in Sylvan. Your words hang there for a moment. The head of the broom seems to apparate once more into this almost equine-looking face with large cinnamon patties for eyes, and it twists and looks in your direction, and you hear... That's it. Just some grunting.
What do you think?
Can I ride you?
You see bits of cinnamon fly out of its mouth.
Does that seem like a no?
Are you trained in insight or animal handling? Either one.
Insight.
Insight. It's a crazy peppermint swirly-eyed horse, and it looks angry.
What does the peppermint horse eat?
I don't know. Grass. It's a horse, right? Is there grass in the ground here?
You look around, and yeah, there's grass. It's small pieces of thinly cut taffy.
I will scoop up some of it if I can. Can I pull it?
Sure. Yeah, you pull it, and it springs like a long kind of cord. And the moment you try to yank and pull, you eventually let go, and it's poing, goes right back into the earth.
Can I pull it up and cut it with my axe?
You certainly can. You lift with one hand, cut with the other. A few pieces of this licorice kind of like taffy candy fills your hand at this point. You have a clutch of it.
I'll walk up to where the head apparates and, hey buddy, you want to try some of this? And I'll hand out the...
From your koboldian self, you offer a small peace offering of freshly cut taffy grass, and from 15 foot up in the air, the broom, the cinnamon broom, just stays there.
I'll throw it at him.
Okay, roll a to hit. You can use your dexterity score or strength if you really want to beam the thing.
I'll use strength.
Sure.
Guessing that's not proficient, so
Nope.
14.
14. You nail a piece of this grass right on the side of this horse, and you hear it go. And it seems rather upset. Let's go ahead and turn that off. There we go. Get you guys a little bit less of the suppression. It seems rather upset, but it does not move from the exact spot where it has been stood the whole time. You see,
I don't know how to help this guy.
clutching her now mostly hairless child. Tabby walks over and goes, "I personally think you should chop it in half, eat it, and gain its power."
There is logic in what she says.
Yes, there is much magic in the lifeblood of these creatures.
I mean, I've been pre-diabetic before, and I don't want to go back there.
If I could but grasp it with my claw, I would happily devour it. But it is not my kill to have.
From our time of having horses,
Mhm.
does JJ recall like anything that calms horses down or
Yeah,
that
easily enough to recall. You spent quite a long time on the road with horses. You know that, especially Colt Honeycutt back in his day, God rest his soul, primarily would make sure that the horses were well groomed and would often offer them very food motivating things. If you would like, you can roll history, as Colt was the one who primarily took care of your horses on the road.
All right, I will roll history.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 9.
A 9. You know that Colt kept a small stash of things on his belt that he often fed to the horses, but for the life of you, you just can't figure what that was, whether it be like pieces of dried meat or something else. But he had a special pouch that was just for the horses, he always said. You're pretty sure it wasn't tobacco.
Right. Uh, JJ will she's running out of rations quickly. She will break off a piece of her ration and kind of just hold it out. Hold her other hand kind of like gently out as well as to like gently pat its apparated noggin.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and make me an animal handling check.
$19.
19. You hold it out. You seem like, You see there is a look in this broom's face that kind of almost has this level of above animalistic sentience. It stares at you, and there's a moment of like intrigue and inspiration. It seems to kind of go off in its head. It slowly begins to drift back. Warning bells start going off in your head. Its expression has not changed. It still looks very angry and ready to buck and hurt people as it slowly nears you, but it seems to be trying to do so in a very coy manner. You, from animal handling, get the intent that this creature is attempting to get close to you to hurt you. But it moves about like a foot and a half. It's very slowly coming down.
She will stay still, but she'll try and like whisper over to somebody, someone kill this fucker. It's going to kill me.
You can count on me. Big wolf claw.
JJ is still very still.
If it gets into striking range, I'll
You gonna bap it?
axe chop it.
Okay, you're gonna axe cop it. Anyone else want to do anything as this is slowly happening?
I had a stupid idea, but now we're just going to kill it, so it's fine.
We're already at stupid ideas. There's no more stupid idea.
Not when people are going to be swinging at it. I don't want to be back on top of it.
Oh, that's fair. Anyone else?
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Would you like to make sure it doesn't get off of you? Or you don't get off of it?
Yeah.
I'll take out my wand and cast Spider Climb on Orville so we can stick to it.
Okay. Orville, it continues to descend about 12 foot in the air now. It keeps slowly moving down. Anyone else want to do anything before it gets within Kobold Jones chopping action? The slice and dice-o-matic?
Oh.
No? All right. Orville, are you going to try to jump on it, or are you going to wait for Kobold Jones to hack it in half before jumping on it.
As the axe begins to come down, he's going to take his jump.
Okay. So you're going to wait for Kobold Jones to swing at it. And then jump on it.
Yeah,
oh,
immediately
okay.
after, just in case.
Yeah, just in case it doesn't die to this. So yeah, Kobold Jones, it slowly gets within about 5 feet. You see it go to twist and about to shake the kind of like bundled mass of cinnamon that's kind of rolled into the back of it. You see like small glints of like cinnamon pepper begin to kind of like twist and trail out almost in like a fiery plume. But you are ready and you bring your axe out. Go ahead and roll to hit. It is defensive, so you have disadvantage, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, and it's sunny out.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. Ooh, that's not good. That's a 10 to hit.
10. You swing your axe and it just narrowly avoids it. You see the head of the mare retch up and attempt to kind of buck away and attempt to fly off. Orville, you spring into action like a loaded toy and you fly after it. Go ahead and make me a grapple attempt. Your athletics versus its dexterity. Going to try to acrobatics away from this. It's certainly going to try.
That's a 16.
Cool. I rolled a 6, so you grapple the hell out of this thing. You grab this once very rigid broom, and immediately it starts kind of wiggling and waggling, and you put one leg over it, and it starts kind of like moving like a party hose. You start hearing this grunting like, it starts trying to take off from the ground. What do you guys want to do? It is attempting to abscond with your goblin friend. You see Orville's feet come free of the ground as he grapples this thing, and it starts to lift him up off the ground.
Get him, green dude!
Get him, green dude, thumbs up! All right, it starts pulling Orville away. Orville, you have it grappled. What is it you want to do? It starts to trail up, and it moves, at this point, back about 15 feet back up into the air.
Can I attempt to just, like, nosedive it into the ground?
You want to try to, like, do, like, a spike into the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can certainly try to... So you're in control of the grapple. Okay. Yeah, you can attempt to kind of propel your weight enough to kind of like pull it free from the air is kind of what you're doing, this magically flying thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not? Okay. That sounds stupid and fun. Go ahead and give me an athletics check. You have disadvantage because it's magic. I feel that's pretty fair.
That's fair.
I would like to counter its supernatural ability with my muscles. Sounds like a strength thing.
Yep. It's 9 on both attempts.
9. You wiggle, and you can't seem to kind of wrench this thing free. The spider climb makes it to where you automatically succeed for continuing your grapple, and you can't be thrown off of it. But then it starts to kind of corkscrew spin a bit, and you start smelling this kind of sulfurous cinnamon in the air around you, and it finally goes and looks at you and meets eye to eye with you, these swirling mints of pepper kind of looking at you, and you hear... and there's a detonation and a small explosion of cinnamon that engulfs you. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Before this con throw, and when it comes face to face, can I just...
Oh, 100%. You stick your tongue right out at it.
Con save, you said?
Con save.
That is a 12.
Okay. It releases this cloud of cinnamon. It burns, it stings, it hurts your eyes, nose, mouth, throat. You can feel it sulfur into the back of your body. You take 4 points of fire damage. What amounts to very, very burning cinnamon. You don't get the poison condition because you're immune to poison still. So, you know, that sucks.
So we take those.
Yeah. You're now in a cloud of cinnamon.
Coughing and sputtering.
Mm-hmm. Rest of the group, anything you guys want to do as you're watching Orville try to wrangle a horse cinnamon broom out of the air as it attempts to defend itself?
Orville, do you want me to try and kill it now?
Or we'll sputter out a yeah in between coughs and tears.
Yeah.
Magic missile.
All right, just roll damage.
Yeah.
We're gonna burn it. We're not gonna burn it.
I don't have that right now.
Ooh, fair.
3, 7, 9 points of force damage into the broom.
Okay, it gets hit. You see it crack, twist, and begin to kind of move about freely. It is not quite unconscious. It is still very much conscious and continues to harass and harrow dear Orville. Orville, I need a secondary Constitution saving throw as you spend another 6 seconds in the very, very much. I mean, it's cinnamon. It literally is like
it's just the cinnamon challenge.
Yeah, it's like cheaper mace or like worse pepper spray at this point.
Hit him with the green goblin elbow.
That's 15 on the con save.
All right, you make the save. You manage to hold your eyes closed, the water kind of doing so. You keeping your mouth shut as you kind of you feel it burn and sting and tinge, but there's no damage that is dealt to you.
Can I attempt to give it the green goblin elbow?
Yeah, sure. You want to like elbow it right in the side of the head?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Go ahead. Roll to hit.
Unarmed strike?
Sure, yeah, of course.
All right, 17 to hit.
Yeah, you've crushed this thing's AC. This poor darn thing.
5 points of bludgeoning.
You hear a crack, and it sounds like wood splintering, a thunderous, as if lightning struck into a great oak. There's an uneasiness for a moment, and you feel something give way, almost this ethereal anchor that seems to weigh it high into the sky, and then you plummet. But you're a monk, so slow fall, and I'm not going to make you roll it, because screw you. But yeah, you land roughly 17 feet from the air. This broom still in your clutches, the front part of it snapped in half like a severed horse head in someone's bed, and it is currently leaking out this like bright red cherry liquid that is not blood, but it definitely has a semblance of like life essence. It seems to have, and it's like dripping all over your forearm. It looks like every guy in the UFC who busts someone else's nose open and they're just covered in blood themselves.
Can I do one of those comical, like, oh my god, it's still stuck to my hand, get it off, get it off, get it off?
You could definitely, oh yeah, you're like, oh no, it's still stuck, and it's like definitely the spider climb, like still stuck to it. And you're like, oh guys, this thing's super sticky. Blood's flying all over the. I'm sorry, this syrupy liquid is flying all over the place, splashing all over, just making an absolute mess of things.
Does anyone want free diabetes?
I think several of us already have free diabetes.
I don't think you can get double diabetes.
You'd be surprised.
I'm not willing to risk that.
Buddy looks at the group and just goes, I don't think you, in your condition, you should be risking double diabetes. That's like super cancer. You don't want to have to worry about that.
I guess you could potentially lose a foot.
Yeah, no, you could lose both feet. And you don't have many feet to play with. You're like 2.5, 3 foot most. A whole foot would be bad for you.
I wonder if it makes me lose weight. Because if not, then I would be like...
If you lose a foot, you'll lose all kinds of weight. Meanwhile, like syrup still flying around. Just squirting out from this now cracked head broom.
Gonna drink it. You want it?
No, I'm good. Do you see Tabitha look around and go, I will eat your kill if you do not want it.
Going once, going twice.
Yeah, just don't eat my
Can I just try a piece of that? Just like a little piece.
Now she's interested when she gets to eat the enemy.
Okay, but now wait a second. I thought you wanted it, so I thought we were trying to save it.
No,
but
feel free. Eat any enemies that we have that you feel like.
No. This one just looks, what's the word I'm looking for? Tasty?
Yes, I get that feeling.
That other stuff did not. You too, huh?
After you.
Do you want to try? No. After you.
I
you
insist.
Are you sure?
Your kill.
Oh, actually, it's not. It's not.
Each start from one end.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here,
And then the
I'll
keys.
take this side.
I'll take
I
this
see.
side. No, so yeah, Orville, do you offer the now very headless broom to Celeste?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Celeste, from the leaking end of this broom, there is this kind of like almost sugary sweet liquid that is like pulsing out from the shaft of the broom. This is more disgusting by the second. It is oozing out in a flurry, almost like a slurry of sugary sweet goodness. Do you attempt to devour this broom? The
I think
cinnamon brew.
devours. Devour is kind of a strong word.
Well, that's
but
what the werewolf
she's
wants.
Oh, no. She's gonna take like one bite just to see what
Like a big
it tastes like.
Honkin' bite. Okay. Yeah, you take a big crunchy bite. You break through part of the cinnamon. You feel this liquid splash into the back of your throat. This sticky, almost processed sugar taste immediately assaults your senses. I need you to make me a charisma saving throw.
15.
15. You feel this pool and pour into the back of your throat. You quickly swallow the bite. It is absolutely delicious. Probably one of the best things you ever had.
Okay, I'm gonna snap off a piece and hand it to Tabitha and then eat the rest.
Okay, you start chewing on
In
the,
half.
you snap it in half. You start chewing half. She starts chewing half. And she looks you over and she goes, I was uncertain about your group. Very holier than thou, but you're all right, kid.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I think.
She's still holding her mostly naked wolf cub in her arm. So yeah, that's the broom. Anything else you guys want to do here? Tabitha will advise you and say, if you are of need of rest, I say we make for the location of the relic. It is an abandoned place and holy ground, and would be a safe haven for you. Staying here might draw the ire of the remaining coven.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that one. That one's name was different than the other name we were given.
Yes, there are sisters of Candy, the sweet sisters themselves. They have pacted with forbidden, ritualistic gods of the Feywild, and they now draw power unknown and unbeholden to those of us of the old ways. It is dangerous magic, as you have seen.
I'm good to make way unless we want to check a couple of these buildings real quick, but happy to do whatever everyone else likes.
Did the witch have anything else on her?
Her smoldering, melted corpse in a puddle? No. Anything she might have had is now immolated in her puddle where she was. Fire being her vulnerability, she just roasted. Like the most gooey of marshmallows over an open campfire. There's like a thick blackened crust where she was. Yeah, nothing on the witch. Are you guys gonna break into houses and investigate?
At the very least, Orville wants to karate kick some doors.
Okay. There are 5 doors as the town is set up in a giant candy star. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick a point of a star and tell me where you want to go.
We're gonna roll for that.
All right, let me know.
We're gonna go for the one that's at like 7 o'clock.
So, okay. So 1, 2, 3, number 4. That sound about right?
Yeah, that's
We'll start from 1. Number 4. All right, yeah. Go ahead and give me an unarmed strike against the door, since we're spin kicking it open.
It's 12.
A 12. You walk up, jump up like you are the Green Ranger from Power Rangers, doing a standing spin kick. Your foot breaks through the front of this cookie cut door. It is actually like a French bread cookie, and you just crack it in half immediately, your goblinoid toes wiggling through as you feel the strength of your bee boots tear just pieces and sunders this door. It cracks and almost like in a puff of powder. You feel it land in there. You look and you can see these softly glowing orbs that hang from the ceiling on this like collected vine of taffy. They seem to be these like large kind of like almost clear like amberish looking vessels that seem to have small little creatures inside of them, glowing faintly and providing illumination to this room. As you peer in there, you hear, oh no, what do we do? You look and you kind of scan this building. You see a large central table. You see a number of small bags, baubles, a bookshelf that has been haphazardly knocked over, and sat in like the back corner of the room. There are a collection of these tiny little circular things that have little tiny arms and legs and feet. They seem to be no bigger than maybe like a hefty stone. And each of them is clumped together in there. And they kind of like shake, and you can see their little faces stare out at you from the pale light of their house.
Orville was not prepared for that. He's just gonna dust his hands off. All right, job's done. You turn and walk right away.
Oh God.
While he's doing that, can I look for the cutest looking house?
Sure.
And then just kind of peep through its window to see what it looks like inside.
Yeah, you so the cutest house in the village. I'm assuming we're going with pink being the cutest one, right? Like bright pink and like the brightest colors, right? The most extravagant one. You look, the one that is the most north house is like this bright pink kind of frosted house. You look it over and the door actually has like a window, but it's this kind of like swirled piece of like lollipop, like kind of hard candy. So as you try to peer through the window, you can't really see it. It's kind of like in a circular pattern, and it kind of warps the vision a little bit. But you look inside and you can kind of see like some dazzling lights from the other side of this door. Orville, as you walk away, Tabby looks at you and goes, "Are you going to finish that?"
Oh no, go ahead.
Yes. Tabby walks into the open house, and you hear screams, and then you hear nothing at all.
Orville! This one! Do this one!
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, good idea.
Okay. Orville, are you spin kicking this door as well?
No, can I attempt to headbutt this one instead?
You want to headbutt this candy door?
Yes.
Yeah, screw it, Nappa. Go ahead. Take a bite out of it. Give me an attack roll.
Catch it with your teeth.
Catch it with your teeth.
That's a 19 on die.
Jeez Louise. You lean back. You guys watch Orville plant very like, almost like a sumo stance, like a full karate man stance. One big leg to the side, brings his leg up over in a big half semicircle, plants the other one, brings both arms in on the side, leans all the way back in like a 45-degree angle back bend, tightens his neck, and wham! Crushes his head straight through the door. His neck kind of gets caught a little bit, but as you stare through and you have that "here's Orville" moment, you stare and you look and you can see there is a creature in this beautiful, lavish house that has a large, kind of swollen, nasty-looking head, lavish, long locks of what appears to be kind of like taffied hair, and these large, kind of button eyes. And she kind of stares back and she goes, "Oh no." And she seems desperately afraid. She's wearing what looks like almost like a robe, but it's not really. It kind of looks like a fruit roll-up, but it's been wrapped around her in a weird way. It molded to her form in a way.
I mean, after headbutting through the door, Orville's job is quote-unquote done, so he'll just pull his head back through, shake it off, and walk away.
Okay, give me
try to high-five Celeste.
Give me a strength saving throw to pull your head back out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh yeah. We're playing this game, buddy. You win.
That's a 19 on die again.
Oh, okay, fair enough. You yank, and you just rip and sunder a massive hole through it, and it just kind of like crumbles and breaks off the hinges. Two pieces are the only things that really hang still on the door, and they kind of like uneasily kind of float in the air. Celeste, you look in and you can see this. It's like a very like small kind of like cottage core home. There are a number of like 2 beds. You look, there's a large table, this like candied woman kind of standing by the table, like grasp in a very defensive position. But you do note a strange oddity. There is like a number of things here that would have you believe that about a fourth of the house, like a whole like catty corner of it, is like what appears to be to you a kitchen. But you know, having seen these people, this is like a factory. This is like where they make more candy people. Like it's like an oven, it's a rolling pin, it's every kitchen utensil you would see in a confectioner's area. And yeah, you get the feeling that like this is probably the house where they make some of these things.
Tabby, over here.
Here.
This is where it goes down. I'm pretty sure this is where the population grows.
Unfortunate.
You know what I mean?
We must cut the head from the snake. I trust you.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No.
No, really.
I'm
You
really
go ahead.
full.
No, but me too, like, close to diabetes full, you know?
Oh, yes, of course. I suppose I could make room. You don't mind?
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay. Tabitha kind of like belches a little bit, shifts a little bit of her weight ever so slightly, and like kind of like holds her child in her hand, and then kind of like one claw slowly like boom, boom, like huff and puff and blow the house down, Big Bad Wolf style. And you hear, no, please, no. And you see like strands of like silly string coming out of the doorway that are just ropes of like candied, like almost like nerd's rope, kind of like flying out from the doorway as this candy person is devoured and eaten. Tabitha walks back out, and her abdomen has descended, and there's this big, heavy looking, like, again, if you've ever watched the Stinky Cheese Man book, or you ever read it, when the wolf wins, there's just like this big heavy belly because they've eaten all the Stinky Cheese Men. That's kind of where Tabby's at right now, is like she is engorged with these candy people. And she's walking out, and you see there's a sharpened piece of peppermint, and she's picking her teeth with it.
Just that was phenomenal. Thank you, friend.
Yep. No, absolutely. I think it's time for a little nap, you know?
We should
Just gonna
away before we draw
yeah.
more attention to ourselves.
And you look
Sure.
at her face now is matted with sticky like pieces of candy that are all stuck. She almost looks like she has a beard that's made out of like the pieces of the candy people.
I just want to check one thing, and I want to go look at the lights in the one house that looked like they had creatures in them.
Sure, yeah. You walk on over and you kind of look them over. Yeah, they're like these like frozen, like lemon, like almost amberish lights, and in the very inside of them, it looks like there are creatures, but it's like this like faint, almost bioluminescence, and at its core, it seems shaped almost like in a very peculiar humanoid look to it. But it's very difficult to discern with the kind of like almost lemon drop design of this this candied light.
Does anyone still have a fresh water skin? I want to see what's in here.
I do, and JJ will hand her extra one.
Hand her a full water skin.
See if I can free whatever's in here by the same means as we did Cobalt Jones earlier.
Sure, yeah. You begin to kind of drain water over the top of it, and slowly but surely it begins to melt away more and more and more. You kind of have to use the front of the water skin to kind of scrape away pieces of the ever softening pieces of candy and the outer shell and complexity of it. Finally, you get to the middle and you look, and there is a very small, tiny creature inside that kind of bears a bit of familiarity to like a sprite or like a small kind of like failing, which are like half fairies, and it is kind of stuck in there, imprisoned, almost like encased in carbonite in this lemon drop of a design. And it, like, as you kind of like pour water on its face, you watch as like parts of it begin to melt off from the top of its face, but it looks as if the lemon texture has perfectly preserved its body in here. Any further, and you'll either kill it or free it, and then it'll maybe come back to life, but it's very difficult to know whether it would or not.
Want to try and free it. Orville, you're... I know it's not exactly humanoid, but you're... God, you shoved your head through a door. You're medically inclined.
Blood drips down from the front of his head. His
Yeah.
hands covered in the visceral remains of the horse broom.
Would you lend me a hand to see if we can revive this creature?
I'm also a medic.
Are you?
Cobalt Jones. Okay. At this, I will say that Bartholomew looks to you, Cobalt Jones, goes, You're a licensed practitioner of medicine. This whole time.
Not licensed per se, but in the battlefield, you learn a lot.
Right. So
Yeah,
you're
my
like
big
a
breakthrough
doctor.
was when I started cleaning tools for surgeries.
That was a breakthrough.
Yeah, it happens to everyone.
Right then. I'm gonna go see what Morgan's doing. Like, starts walking to go find Morgan.
How many amputations have you successfully completed?
0. Thank you.
I'm just gonna see him walking over and then just like keep my distance, but like seem like I'm meandering around, but like walk away.
You're doing the soccer mom dance at Kohl's, where like the neighbor showed up at Kohl's and you're like, fuck that lady, hold on. Like, you're like going to the next aisle anytime she gets into your aisle kind of deal.
Just like whistling, looking at everything very
Oh,
intently.
And see, look how interesting this random shit is. Like, you're like looking at the shingles, the frosting, the dead chocolate bunny, and it's just like kind of like, I'll just walk. Wow. And he's just like, he's like, yep, no, give her your space. It's cool chocolate bunny. That's cool. But yeah, you guys come over to the lemon drop as this small scene of keep away plays out between a rogue and a down on his luck ex ice cream employee. What do y'all want to do?
Mr. Kobold, if you want to take a crack at it, I'm more than happy to let you.
Alrighty. And I guess I'll do it. Do you want me to do it at advantage?
For what?
Are we doing a medicine check?
Medicine is that this thing is perfectly preserved in what appears to be lemon, like a lemon crust.
Yeah, I think what I was meaning was like we'll try to remove that crust and then see if they can be saved, because it's either going to kill them or it's going to save them.
Yeah, you can attempt to roll medicine if you want to figure out probably the best way to do that. That would probably be like medicine or insight, your choice.
Oh, that's the same for me.
Well, give me your roll.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
That's really good.
Is it?
11.
That's not good at all. No, I'm kidding. No, 10 is what you'd probably need after seeing how this kind of process works. Cobalt Jones, you think it's overcomplicated. There's a million ways you can do it. You pull out tools. You can try to lick your way through it. You can pour more water. You get more water skins. Then you just think about it. Why don't we just submerge the thing? If you get a bucket, you fill it with water and let these things slowly dissolve over the course of minutes, hours, however long it takes. No scraping, no nothing. These things will probably dissolve completely in water and be the safest way to remove whatever is being trapped within.
All right, guys. So here's the plan. We're going to find some water, going to put in a bucket, and we're going to submerge them. It's time for these guys to sink or swim. That way we don't have to chop their faces on accident. We don't break them in half. We just douse them out and hope that they had their breath held or something like that when they were covered up.
Where do you plan on submerging them?
Look, I'm just a doctor, okay? I'm not a water finder.
I don't water.
Actually, I am.
Do you have a dowsing
I do
rod?
have survival.
Oh, okay. I mean, kind of, technically.
I was not told that we had to find water, so I guess that's the next step. Let's find some water. Let's find a way to submerge these guys, and then they either die or they don't, I guess.
We need a bucket.
Yeah, we'd also have to find a bucket as well, yeah.
Maybe use like a helmet, I guess, or something that can keep water in it that can fit these guys.
All right, let's do that at the location of this site, and we're going to be taking a rest there anyway, so we can try and do that in someone's helmet. Let's just gather them up. And I'm gonna go
Alright.
through. Yeah, could we check the other houses? Go get as many of these as we can. We're saving fairies today. We have fairy friends that
Fairy mission. Okay.
we're making it up
Sure.
for mistakes that happened once in the past.
Of the 2 houses you've broken into, you know that there are 3 fairy lights, 3 lemon fairy lights in the first one. In the second one, there are 2 in there. Are you breaking into the remaining 3 houses?
That is my request.
Okay. Who wants to be the executioner?
I'll do it, but I don't do kids.
Oh, they're all kids.
Then I'm not gonna do it.
Well, the kids
Oh,
are
I'll
jerks, though.
Kids are dicks.
I'll
we
still
did some
touch every
doors.
single one of them.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Vel's like, I had it with these motherfucking kids. Just walks through.
Kids, they're just candy.
JJ will check
Whoa.
one of the other houses.
I'm not getting gilded into this.
Wow. Remember that. They're not kids, they're candy. Okay, so JJ, you check one of the other houses. Yeah, I mean, so we'll say, yeah, Vel, you have like do you have an at-will fire spell? To just auto-murder these things? Or are you gonna have to ping them one at a time?
I'll have to ping.
Okay, JJ will have to ping or sword them. I suppose here's where we'll go. Describe your villain origin story to me real quick as you break into these houses to screaming little whoppers. They're effectively little chocolate whoppers, and you murder them. Describe how that goes for me. Well, we're gonna start with Vel. Vel, you get to the door. I assume you arcane blast it open. Crumbling pieces of cookie go everywhere from the shortbread cookie. And you hear a gasping scream as a small collection of Whooper children are sat in the corner. Their chocolatey exteriors slowly sweating with their kind of porous skin. They're beginning to melt in the heat as the sunlight pours into the room. How do you want to Anakin Skywalker these children?
Can I get
I'm
a
sorry.
lightsaber?
Candy. I mean, technically, JJ does have a sword that is kind of like a lightsaber in a weird way. It's made out of water that turns into ice, but it would do damage that they would melt to. It is technically a water blade. So yeah, you could technically do that if you wanted to. If you want to lightsaber it up. But however,
my singular, what's it called that I have?
What, the saber of Sudar?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take your saber. So yeah, while Vel thinks about her start of it, JJ, describe how this plays out. I want to hear you do. You definitely break the door down, right? Are you cutting it down? Are you shattering it down? What's the game plan here?
She will harness the energy, I guess, of D3.
Okay.
Kick the door down with her flowery little boots that she got.
Boom.
And then kind of swing her saber of Sudar out.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of step in and start slashing
Cutting.
at whatever these little things are.
Okay, sure enough. You go ahead and give me just a straight up athletics check. That's all we'll need.
Okay. That's a 19.
A 19. Okay. Yeah, you very easily you find the hinges of this candy door. One kick to the lower end, boom, big cracking sound. One kick to the top end, boom, another cracking sound. The door crashes in as dust rolls through the building. You take a moment and draw your hilt of your magic weapon. The sweat pools from the front of your face and slowly flashes and a myriad of a bright, glistening Ison blade. You step forward, one step, two step. The large kind of candy table in the middle of the room is nothing to prevent your onslaught of what is about to happen to these denizens. They have sinned, and thus you are now their executioner. You chop the table and twine, your magical weapon easily carving through this candy furniture. They hear screams from inside as these small chocolate-covered kids... Sorry, they're not kids, they're candies. Gasp in horror as they have yet to become their one true candy self, and you melt them into the corner. Their toffee exterior now bleeding out onto the ground below. Go ahead and roll me a d6.
4.
4. You hear this like, yes, voice in your ear. You can mark 4 souls off of what you owe Vasler. You also save 3 more fairy lights. Vel, back to you. What do you want to do?
Walk up to the door,
Mhm.
and just a little bit of necrotic energy causes the handle to just decay enough to just slowly open it up. And then I look over them and say, "Sorry, kids. Candy's gone bad." And then a chill touch for each one of them.
You start hearing screaming, one running away, but then the Ison claw of death impales the back of it, slowly rotting the chocolate and creating these large, heavy, kind of, if you've ever had them, these like white spots that start to form the molding across the outside of the candy coating. They, before turning to powder within mere seconds, a handful of seconds, inside of a minute, the houses are cleared of any would-be denizens that so remain. There's just kind of like candy ash in many of these houses. You all recover a grand total of 7 more of these kind of like lemony fairy orbs. So in total, 7 more. And yeah, you will say over the course of doing this and investigation, you also come into a couple of strange objects that are found in the village. Having taken, at this point, well over about like half an hour in the village, you find a rolled piece of flattened, kind of like, it's like almost like a hard chocolate that's been bound by pieces of taffy. And you look it over, and it seems to be a cookbook of some design. It seems to, Vel, to you, there is something magical in it. It is written primarily in Sylvan, of which Kobold Jones can certainly translate, or your translator could for you as well. But yeah, it says to bake a better being. And it is effectively a guide on how to create a candy person. So you find that. In one of the houses, you do find a small, like it's like a probably no bigger than. Well, let me see here, like an armrest kind of thing. Like it's like no bigger than like just like a little round like staffy kind of rod. That is a peppermint stick. And you as you kind of like hold it and you look it over, there are again Sylvan runes that run the length of it. And looking it over, there seems to be something to it. Being that you have this spell and it has been cast before, JJ, as Kobold Jones deciphers the Sylvan runes on it, you know that this is a Rod of Enlarge. It is a magical item, a lesser one than that, but it is a peppermint stick of Enlarge. Once per day, it can be used to cast the Enlarge spell, or to reduce something, to fit it in an oven and cook it. And the final thing that you find within the village is a rather mischievous looking thing. It is a piece of candy corn, much in the way of the daggers you have found around the village. Only this one seems worse. There is instead of a white, yellow, kind of like brown, it is like a black, a green, and like an Icarus kind of like look to it. In general, it's been carved clean, and it is now covered in this like very hard candy shell. And it seems to be a very frightening looking knife that has been stuck in one of the cupboards.
Right, well, I'll hold on to that cookbook.
You think that knife is cursed?
As you look at it, you hear, Candy.
Yep, guy's cursed. Don't worry about it. It's cursed.
Wait, the
Now
knife
you know.
just talked?
It's like a whisper on the wind. Anytime your eyes focus on this knife, you hear the word candy echo, like whispered in your mind.
Does someone want to mage hand it, or should we just leave it here and lock it up in this thing? This is kind of, I don't know.
Candy.
I got goose pimples all over.
Well,
I mean, the rogue
damn my
could use a
curiosity.
magic weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, she could. But I also think she doesn't need another curse on her. We might have to wait to hand it off to her a little bit.
Morgan peeking in, be like, "What's that?"
Yeah, that's my concern why I don't want to touch it. If I have something force onto me, I may not be able to have my amulet active anymore. Kinda can't remove the other two right now.
Candy.
I'm okay to leave it. Personally. Although I could always try and grab it with like maybe some cloth and keep it wrapped up.
Doesn't somebody have mage hand?
Oh yeah, we have mage
Yeah,
hand.
Morgan.
It's stuck in the wall. I'm not sure if it'll be strong enough to remove it.
It definitely takes some doing. It's not so much on a wall as it is like there's like a cabinet where like you heard something whispering, so you opened it. On the inside of the cabinet, it's like stabbed on the inside of the cabinet with like just a little bit of it poking through.
Okay.
And you look like the only reason you really even open the cabinet is because the doors are mismatched. One is like this like really brilliant kind of like gingerbread look to it. The one that this thing is stuck into is this pale white, almost like fetid looking like it kind of definitely looks diseased, or like maybe like there's like a sort of like fungus that has grown across the outside of the gingerbread, and it's kind of got this like fuzzy look to it, kind of like if you ever left bread out on your countertop for a couple weeks because you didn't have too many sandwiches, and it gets that like bluish kind of whitish mold that runs the length of it. That's kind of what's on this door.
Is it across the entire cabinet?
It's just that one door. It actually looks like it's not spreading.
I just ripped the cabinet off the wall.
The whole cabinet?
Why not just rip the door off?
I don't want to touch that. I don't want to touch that green weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean the cabinet is a fairly large cabinet, but you can easily rip it off with your strength. You rip it free from the gingerbread wall. There's a big hole, and now this house is probably compromised. But yeah, you're holding now this like entire cabinet with this one whispering knife in it.
All right, problem solved.
You're
I'll
just gonna
walk out
carry
of
a
the house.
cabinet with you
It's
everywhere?
literally you're holding like what amounts to a giant fucking couch over your head. That's how big this is to you, Kobold Jones. You are a kobold, as your name might imply.
Someone want to like take these straps and strap it around my back?
I will tell you that is never going to happen, ever, in fact.
Look, buddy, I moved an entire refrigerator by myself for 4
What
miles.
is a
What's a refrigerator?
What's this refrigerator?
Is that a kobold device?
What
It's a dwarven device.
dwarven device? A refrigerator.
Uh-huh.
Is it like
Useful?
a golem or a... Right. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. Is bottom line of that one.
Fridge. I don't get it.
Dwarf stuff.
Can we just take the knife? Do we have to take the whole cabinet, Jonesy? Like,
Oh, no one wants to touch the
Just
knife.
don't
You
think-
can take it if you want it. I'm not touching that thing.
oh, and Mage Hand can't grab it?
No one's attempted to use
Let's
it.
try it. Mage hand.
Okay. The knife breaks free from the inside of this rotted heap of petrified and fungus-covered gingerbread. It floats in the mage hand.
Does anybody have anything that we could just... Boop.
Anytime someone stares at it, you hear candy.
I like candy.
JJ, you
JJ
have
takes
some
off
extra
her
cloth, right?
Yeah, she'll just take off her scarf and
Okay.
just kind of wrap it around it and just stick it in her backpack.
Okay. Sure, that'll work. You wrap it up, and yeah, you flap it in your backpack. The whispering gets muffled, and if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. You can't hear it.
If I die, I die. But we're halfway with Vasler.
Do you think...
Hey, good job. Congratulations.
Do you, just weird thought. Do you guys think the dagger maybe brings the gingerbread to life?
Well, from the looks of things, it was greatly decaying that candy door it was stuck in. So I actually think it's probably not good for candy.
Zombie gingerbread.
Might be what they use to deal with the problematic ones.
We've been here quite a while now. I think we should get a move on.
JJ, did you take that peppermint rod, or who's taking that?
I mean, I could take it, but if someone else wants to hold it, that's fine.
You can already cast that spell, so it might be good if someone else has it.
I agree.
Gonna give it to Celeste so she can make herself big.
Yeah, she could do that.
Can Celeste read Sylvan?
Alright, I guess I'll take it.
All right, Cobalt Jones, in with the peppermint stick. Anything else you guys want to do before following Tabitha into the wrong side of town?
Or the right, depending on which way you think about it.
Depending on if you don't like sugary sweet delights, yes.
That's not me. I love them.
I think we're good to go.
Good to go? Okay. Tabby scoops her child back into her arm, makes way far from this small town. You guys, as you make distance on the area, you note that your werewolfen friend manages to keep you into the underbrush and very low into cover, never once attempting to risk an open area that you could be spotted as you all make your retreat further and further still from the bright and shining beauty that is the candied area of the Feywild forest. And you eventually reach a crossroads. You see an entangling mixture of bright, kind of candy-striped trees enraptured with these pale, blackened, or fetid oaks that seem to drain and drip this long kind of line across. Tabitha kind of looks around, and over the course of about 2 hours now, she leads you all down to a point where the trees have a small enough separation that has been ripped apart through effort most likely made on both sides, and goes,
Here, your strongest one should go first to check it out and make sure that it is clear.
Alright. I'll go.
Cobalt Jones, you climb through the brush and start peeling through, and you poke your head out the other side and look. And unlike the bright, happy, kind of like overly sunny, like, welcome, hey, you look and you sense what would normally be a pretty, like, grim-looking forest. There is dense underbrush that has been kind of layered out and thick foliage that is ground out. There is a stench of decay and rot that kind of like fills the air, but almost in like a very natural sense. You're not smelling anything like a poison or a bog or any type of foul play. This is literally what happens to like a forest if it doesn't have any thinning done to it. It has just become so overgrown that parts of the forest are dying because they can't access the same nutrients and sunlight that would be needed to. This is a completely wild and untamed place, as you get the feeling of it. All right. So with that, you find your pathway on the other side, these overgrown trees, heavy vines and root structures that move through, and each one of you easily make your way through into the dark side of this fey-wheeled forest. In doing so, Tabby sniffs the air.
This way. We're not far at all. As I've said, it's partly on the way.
She and starts leading out, and she goes,
Keep your heads low and keep quiet. We don't want to alert anyone else that could discover you.
And she starts making her way. I need the entire group to make me a group stealth check. Unless you say screw it and you just want to march through this side of it. I don't know if you do or not. That's on you or whatever. I mean, that's cool, I guess.
I'm a kobold. I'm super stealthy.
All right, so starting from the top, JJ, what do we get?
24.
24. Vel, what do we get?
13.
13. Lucky number. Orville, what do we get?
16.
Even better. Morgan, what do we get?
A nat 1 for an 8.
Oh,
You have lucky.
Oh,
You
Oh,
have
I
lucky.
do.
you do. You are a lucky person. Do you want to
I
not
don't
take
know
the
if I
8?
have any more, so hold on. I do. It's a nat 20.
It is at this point, I will just say, don't worry about the other rolls. The rogue gun did the good thing, y'all. The rogue done, let me just, you know what? Let me just not worry about that no more. We're just, don't, heavy armor people, don't worry about it. The average has been skewed. The one kid came into class and was like, I studied and I have perfect grades. And nothing is, you don't have to worry about nothing ever again. Great. All right then. So, with that, let me go ahead and put this here. Give me 1 second, because I don't need this encounter anymore. 1 moment, please. I'm just gonna, we're just not gonna worry about it. There we go. So, you all follow for the next about hour and a half through this dense, widely packed forest. Fortunately enough, you see that Tabby is able to keep and find the path fairly easily. Her canine and lupin form able to bring enough kind of awareness of her surroundings, her favored terrain, and very much you note that as she wanders this forest, anytime that there would be a dense bramble or brush that might alert others to your presence or anything of that sort, she manages to point out such trappings and make sure that the party avoids it. The more that you travel with her, you note that she is very much an avid kind of champion of the forest in a way, and very much this is her homeland, and she knows it like the back of her own paw. Between her and Morgan, as anyone would walk and step onto dense brushes that might break, creak, or create undue noise, your rogue rushes forward with a dash action, grabbing up somebody by the back of their hair or cloak, depending on whatever they can kind of get their hands on, like, pointing down to the various trappings or mistakes that could befall the party. Kobold Jones, your armor, you and Celeste kind of like clinks a little bit as you walk. Effortlessly, you see Morgan kind of like making do to ensure that people are like wrapping up their cloaks, walking with full steps instead of like trying to tiptoe, kind of like being very like of the streets and an expert at this, being like, oh, no. The more you try to walk on your tiptoes, the worse it is. Just walk normally, and then we'll fix it as we, and like, just like small little, like, very, like, if I could, what's the thing, like, if I could walk with the animals, talk with the animals, it's just a very, like, I'm going to teach you all how to be a rogue 101, how to be a cat burglar. Here you go. Like, and it's just like a very, like, educational tour, to say the least. So skipping all that nonsense, because don't worry about what's in this forest. It's not that bad, I swear. But moving on from that, let's go ahead and go here. and go here. Is it? Where? Oh, it's here, isn't it? Yeah, it is. There it is. Okay, cool. So moving on from all that, you all kind of come to a break, and you see Tabby stop and make no further motion towards this area. She comes to like an enclosure that is covered in various. Ooh, no, that's not what I want to click on. It's covered in various like overgrowth that seems to kind of twist and bramble around, but in doing so is mostly just a collection of bright trees that seems almost unable to grow further. She looks to each of you and goes,
This is where the relic lays. My kin and I must away. If you mean to rest here, do so. The forest will not reclaim this place. It is unable to do so. Hollowed ground within this area has prevented many of those who are natural-born people of it. Barred access, to say the least. I must find my kinfolk, but I will return by the time you awake to guide you from this land. You may attempt to leave without me should you wish, but if you do, I bid you well. Should you wait, I will be here, of that you have my promise, and I will guide you to this holy man.
Thank you,
Thank you, Tabby.
Tabby. Yeah.
You are quite welcome. And do be careful. There are many whispers in the woods that will attempt to bring you from beyond the boundary. Pay them no mind. Do not engage them. And keep to yourselves, and you will be safe. Be
Wait
well.
till return then.
Be well, heroes. I shall see you come the morning.
Bye, Tabby. Safe travels.
Be well, she of mighty blows.
and she kind of turns and like hunches a bit and like kind of like football covers her child, and then like brushes off in the forest. You guys stand outside of this pale, kind of twisted, gnarled, branching like archway that seems like naturally formed out of the wood. And you can see that there are like parts and pieces of the branches around here that are pointing and attempting to grow further into this open grove, but something seems to prevent them from being able to do so.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hollowed.
I wonder by who?
Oh, I think it's more by what. Kind of get the feeling this is something of the sorts of what Orville found that time.
Mhm.
Powerful things tend to protect themselves, perhaps?
Perhaps. I got an idea here, and I kind of need to voice it. This holy man, this dude with the big ass and the stupid face, is seeking this thing that's here, right?
No.
No.
Different relic.
Yes.
Okay.
As far as we know.
All right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the individual that you are after is seeking a reflective mirror that apparently legend says that if you peer deep within it, it will guide you on a vision quest that will allow you to succeed at your heart's desire. It effectively shows you the path that you would most like to succeed on to accomplish a singular goal in your lifetime.
All right. Never mind. I was just thinking if that thing is here where we've been led, we could just steal it, get out, and then we don't have to worry about Sir Francis with the big ass and the stupid face. Because if he don't have access to the relic, then he can't.
That's not what we agreed to do with our good friend.
Ah, okay.
We are not only to stop him use of any such relic, but also just plain stop him.
I don't know if I would consider him to be a good friend or like a business
I'm
acquaintance.
just not saying names.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. So I'd rather be inside there than outside here. And JJ's just gonna start walking
Okay.
towards the door.
As
through
JJ
the-
says this, you start walking. You feel a give, like almost like a something grasping at the very bottoms of your boots, and you look and like in the moment of like I don't want to be out here anymore. And you start walking. You see like small, tiny vines have already begun to encircle and ensnare the tops of your shoes, and you rip them free easily enough, and then march your way into this. As JJ kind of points that out, you guys look and like the forest itself is attempting to kind of grow on your legs and slowly cover you in.
Oh, fun. Aja, are you able to enter such a place as this? Said creatures of this plane can't?
I do not know if I can do that, but I will try.
Right, well. And I'll head in.
All right, you walk in, you hear, oh no! And she falls off your shoulder as if something has like driven her from your shoulder. She lays on the ground and immediately kind of starts hitting you with like a full overacting Marilyn Monroe. Like, I believe my tail has been fractured.
I'm so sorry,
My
darling.
wing
We'll
is bent.
get
Look
you
at
back
it.
later.
Look how dirty my
It's-
wing is. I do
What?
this for you and now I'm on the ground. Oh no.
I put my hand past the precipice and pick her up. When we get back to the regular plane, what can I do for you to make it up for you?
I want a bath and a big rat to eat.
Okay, we'll do that when we get home.
All
You
right.
go wait now, okay?
All right.
And I'll dismiss her.
No! And it's like she unravels, like almost watching like the peeling of an onion, like as she stops being real and then vanishes into some other dimension or some other part
Somewhere
of this
else here.
dimension. Yeah, like she just vanishes. It's like, no. Thankfully, our dear Chunkster has not had to experience that as Chunkster ate shit. But yeah, you guys are walking into this the hollowed grove. Yep. Okay. So yeah, you guys tear through vines and pieces all the way through here. You come into this beautiful open area, except you note the ground itself there's a smell to it rising up. You look over and there is a bright, glistening light. The sun shines through on a complete circular radiant path. The trees and forest almost seeming to be banished from this area. The ground heavy and dense with foliage, but the grass itself is pale and white and listless. There is a heavy smell of salt and like a almost like slightly chemical smell, but a very like clean bleach smell that emanates from this large kind of open area. You look and there is only a single thing in the middle of this grove, and that is a creature that is bent back, their chest splayed, and they are pinned, they are hollowed and gaunt. There are makings and markings of some type of long, almost giant-like creature. From toe to tip, it's probably about 9 to 10 feet, but it is bent over backwards and laid atop this very heavy, cleaved in half stump that is turned ashen white. And there's this kind of like chemical powder that kind of enraptures this area and gives it a very peaceful, serene vibe. You look and impaled on the very center of this thing's chest, you can see the glistening hilt of what appears to be a weapon that has punctured through and pierced through this creature and pinned it to this area. It looks like this. And you see this large kind of gouge blade. It is no longer than about this, like from the hilt all the way to the tip of the blade. It is no longer than maybe that of like a short sword, but the entire kind of curved horn of it is fully impaled down to what you assume to be like the top of this stump. It is like impaled in this thing's chest, and it just sits there.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. You see bright rays of light shine through and trail off throughout this hollowed grove. And it seems that whatever this thing is, it is very much the reason why the forest and the Feywild itself can no longer reclaim nor touch or even set foot within its boundary. JJ, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
13.
13. You feel an uneasiness, a head rush. You feel blood begin to pool from your heart and from your extremities down into your chest and then up through the back of your neck. And you feel this immediate head rush. You feel sick in this area, and like sweat begins to collect and bead upon your forehead as it begins to trail down the sides of your face. There's something to this place that very much is causing you to feel an overwhelming sense of not quite panic, but just anxiety and stress and this uneasy feeling that you just seem to all of the moment have. This like kind of like budding sensation of just worry and focus, and you can feel your heart rate elevate for seemingly unable to be controlled for whatever reason, but you have this strange feel to it.
She will just slowly start taking steps back to like the threshold, but she won't step back into the forest or anything.
All right.
She just wants to stay.
Yeah, with each step you
back.
get further from the center of this area, there is a calming feeling to it. You're not sure if it is in direct relation to being further or closer to the item in this corpse of a creature that lays there. However, you do definitely get the feeling that there is almost like this mental feeling of betterment. This like, at least I'm taking steps to improve myself. You know, it calms you down in a weird sense, even though you still have this weird, like sudden rush of adrenaline just being near this object.
Can she like walk the perimeter of like this area and kind of try and see what type of creature
Sure.
this weapon's impaled in?
Yeah, so while you do that, it is a larger area, so it'll take you some time. Does anyone else want to do anything while JJ starts to kind of scout out the long perimeter?
So what are we doing? Are we gonna rest and then mess with this thing, or mess with this thing and then rest?
I think it's best to rest and then mess with this thing, because removing it could remove its protection.
Alright, that makes sense, Magic Lady.
I doubt I'll get much of it, but maybe I'll at least get a name. And I'm gonna go and try and identify.
Okay, to identify, you must touch an item.
I have to touch it with a pearl, right?
It says you must touch the item in the spell description, letting you know. And then I'm going to ask you which of the two things you want to touch.
It's just a weapon, isn't it?
It's also this giant body.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'll approach it too. Is
Mhm.
there any like writing or anything like that? Anything in Sylvan that I might be able to read?
You look it over, and there is a glisten and gleam at a part of the blade, but with so much of it stuck deep within this creature, it's impossible to read. It is not written in Sylvan either. The few small thing you can confirm it's not Sylvan. What do you want to do, Vel?
Maybe
if
we
you
should
would have
wait till-
noticed that there was writing before I started,
Mhm. Small
Buddy,
scribbles.
can you read this?
Can I read? I should be able to read anything, yes. Sure. Let me see here. JJ, can you go ahead and roll investigation for Buddy as he attempts to discern what few runes he can make out from the edges of this blade?
Hey, buddy, I know I probably don't have to say this, but I'm going to anyway. Don't touch it.
I did not plan on touching it, but thank you so much. I will not do that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yep, nope. Totally cool. It's not every day you see a giant with something impaled in its chest. I think that's nope.
That's a 4.
A 4. He looks it over and squints and looks it all over. He goes, I am so sorry to say, Miss Dowenvey, that there is nothing I can read on the blade. The hilt doesn't have anything on it I can see, and he leans really far in and goes, nope. No, nothing. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I mean, there's definitely writing on the blade, but okay if you can't read it.
It's it's pieces and fragments. I could speculate. I think that's like a wing, so it could be in celestial that would be wing, or in demonic like an abyssal language.
I speak celestial.
Oh, well, good
and
for
abyssal.
you. Okay, well, I
do you want
mean,
me to-
I don't know what language.
Sorry,
that's...
buddy. I'm sure if you knew.
Yeah, you could try.
No, sorry. No,
cool.
that's okay.
No, I
I'm
mean,
sure. That's silly.
Yeah,
You would have known it. Sorry.
I would. I do speak both of those. Yes. Of course. Buddy will
Alright, well,
just
I'm
humbly
pooped.
apologize.
I said, all right, well, I'm pooped, and I'll start flipping out my bed.
Okay, you roll out your bedroll. Vel, are you gonna cast Identify on the blade?
No, I'll wait until after we've all rested.
Okay, easy to do. You all make peace in camp. You roll your bedrolls out. You start kind of going through. JJ, you want to look over this creature as like you make the circle around it.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at it. It is definitely some type of giant or strange creature. There are a number of faded things. Its skin has been bleached by the sun above. It has probably rested here for longer than any of you have likely been alive. The fact that it's even still together is nothing short of either godly magic or some type of horrible, like, testament of its fortitude. And it's not kind of rotted away to bone and withering. It tells you that there is something to it. There is a very much leathery look to its form and like shape, and it just seems a little bit too strange, all said and done. Are you trained in nature?
No.
Okay. Are you trained in history?
Yes.
Okay, you can attempt a history roll. The DC is rather high.
Yeah, that's not gonna make it.
What'd you get?
8.
8. Yeah, you look it over. It's between the weathered flesh, the fact that it's missing any hair or any type of extremity that would discern it. You're really just looking at this pale, kind of bleached white, leathery hide that just has this heavy looking saber impaled into its chest and pinned to the wood.
Okie dokie. She'll circle back around. She will also hit herself with a lesser resto
Okay,
to remove her disease.
Sure, you no longer feel the itchiness of your gums, the shakiness of kind of like slowly the encroaching hunger, and you no longer feel as if you are suffering to you're feeling your blood kind of like shift and feel much better.
Do you have any extra? I think myself and Orville feel a little jittery as well.
Oh, are you guys need something? I can help you.
Do you know that spell?
Well, so here's the thing. I don't know that spell. Let's see what I can do. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. I can. You're diseased, right? I can do that. I can fix that.
Think so.
Okay, great. I'm going to use lay on hands.
Okay. 5 points to remove a disease.
Okay.
Yeah.
Orville, 2?
Sure.
2?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I could do him 2.
So yeah, you spend 10 points. You bring a hand over the front of Vel. Do you want to do like the church and like the Lord of the Light, and then you want to grab her by the forehead? Do you want to do like a soft like hold on the shoulder? Like you tell me how you're going to cure these lepers. Tell me, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus ain't here right now.
Now Celeste is. You gotta know what Celeste does.
I think Celeste is more like she's gonna pat Vel on the shoulder and be like, "Listen, I know sugar's a tough one. You just gotta be careful next time, okay? It's a lot. You just gotta slow down when ingesting. You know, maybe some milk between bites, because that will help. Be a little banana, you know, just not so much at once, okay?"
You're going to play the mom next time we do one of those ridiculous things like that last situation,
listen.
right?
Oh, definitely not. I don't have that whole motherly thing, you know?
And I do?
You're doing so good. So good. You know, look, I'm going to be honest, Miss Phil. I didn't really have a great mom growing up, but I will tell you that I think you're doing a good job. I don't really know what moms are supposed to do, but I think you're doing good.
Right, doing better than a terrible mom. Got it.
Yeah, that's good, right? It's a start.
Yeah, that means you're not doing terrible.
JJ, are you okay? You are sweating profusely.
JJ's like
I,
pouring sweat at this point.
A little flushed.
I'm just gonna stay over here.
To
If
the edge of the
anyone wants
forest.
to come inside, I'm gonna make my hut thing.
I was gonna ask if you were going to do that.
Thing?
If
What?
anyone wants to stay in there, they can. I'm trying. I gotta do it. I don't
Do
feel
it?
good.
How do you
Not
feel?
feeling great.
You got the diabetes too?
No, I think I fixed that, but there's something about that stirs my whole being.
DM,
Yes, sir.
could Orville do a religion check for this area with relation to the Weaver of the Stick and of the Sun and Moon?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and give me a religion check.
All right, cool. That is a 12.
That is a 12. You kind of like look over the area. You definitely get a feeling that like a weaver's power would be able to do something like this or create an effect like this. You also know that you're in a different world, a place in which the stories and tales and histories of the weavers themselves, when they were upon the Everwield, never really ever brought up. The fact that you're in another world, a different dimension, another plane of being is something that some elven circles and like wizards often speak of. And they go, "I've contacted another plane," but it's usually like crazy madmen and women and like cultists that talk about weird shit like that. But like for you, there's no teaching that the weavers were extraplanar or ever did business or had great stories about this. As you know, all three of them truly are kind of like a be thou for thyself sort, where they believe that what you have is where you are at, and you can only serve to make it better or search this one place we've made or discover and grow within this one place. They were very like singularly focused on the Everwield itself.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you kind of come to the conclusion that this is probably nothing to do with the Weavers.
All right, well.
JJ, you make your area?
Yes.
Yeah. So, with that, is anyone not sleeping inside the Force Dome?
I plan on sleeping in the Force Dome,
Mhm.
but I was waiting for Buddy to go into the dome and then kind of sneak over to see if I could look at it because I didn't want to offend him in my attempt to try and read it.
Oh, sure, yeah. You easy enough. You wait. Buddy's like, "Oh, I can't wait. We're gonna rough it out here in the wilderness," and like starts talking about like, okay, so one time I had to run the camp program for the Sea Salt and Sunday Saloon. It was terrible. So all the kids come over and they had to sleep in the saloon. It was awful because they threw things and beat me up and like just starts going on a long rambling sad story about his life. And you kind of like sulk out and like go in there. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. 18. You managed to find like one completely intact rune that has been scribed and written on like the underside curve of the back end of the blade near the hilt. You confirm it is not celestial and it is not abyssal. Are there any other languages that you speak other than common? Infernal. You look it over. It is not infernal.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, you look it over and there is nothing there. But yeah, you find a legible like scribe that should be like a complete intact like letter or symbol or sigil or something, but it is of no language that you currently know or can decipher.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna make my way back into the dome.
Easy enough to do. You come right into like the middle of the story, and it's like, and there I was, and Jeremy was just such a little shit, and I just, I can't. Oh, hello, Miss Celeste. Did you?
Fuck that Jeremy kid, you know?
Yeah, fuck that kid. It's weird to say, but he was
Such
like
a douche.
He was an asshole. You know, I know he was only 7, but what an asshole.
Oh. He was only 7?
Yeah, I was gonna fight him, but he was, 7.
7.
Yeah.
How tall was he?
He's big for a 7-year-old, like 3 whole foot. He's as big as Kobold Jones, and Kobold Jones is fearsome.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, you killed the shit of things out there, both of you. I'm proud of both of you. You've come a long way since not wanting to be weavers.
Well, Dad, if we ever see Jeremy out on the streets, I'll deck him on sight just for you.
For me? Oh.
Just for you, Dad.
Deck him! We're gonna take his little head off.
Well, how old is he now? I mean, how old is the story?
Can I roll insight on the just for buddy part? I'm pretty sure Kobold would just punch a kid for the fuck of it.
Yeah, no. This is I don't think there's insight required. Kobold Jones, would you just punch a kid if he was a douche?
I already said earlier that I don't do kids.
Oh, okay,
Although this kid was a dick. So
This kid was a dick. I figured.
he may have it coming.
Yeah. So yeah, you get the sense that Kobold Jones would do this just for the satisfaction of it. So yeah, we'll go ahead here. Let you guys take your long rest. You're in a force bubble inside of a hollowed area. Could I be a colossal dickbag and disable? And yeah, I could, but we're not going to do that because that's bad storytelling and bad DMing. Let the players be safe before something bad happens to them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. We're at 8:52. Let's call it 5 minutes. We'll be back at 8:57. Is that cool with everybody? 5-minute break. Yeah, audience. Hope it's cool with you. When we come back, we'll come back to more adventures in the second wake with the Seekers of Galanti. We'll see you in just a bit. Be right back. Hello. We've returned, and so have I. Thank you for sticking with us after the break. I am Montserrat the Glamorous. So, with that, we, of course, thank you for sticking with us after the break. If you're here from the magical world of YouTube, then certainly that break was nothing more than a moment for you. If you stuck with us for all 5 minutes after the break, then you level 20 characters. You're treating us so well. Before the break, the Seekers of Galanti, those people over there, were tasked with cleanup, effectively, from their savage beatdown and destruction of a small candy village. Good for them. Honestly, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for sweets, which is to say, the heart that I keep next to the jar on my bed is rather susceptible to sweet-like delicacies. But after perusing, destroying, and otherwise reclaiming a number of items from the Candy Village, they set foot into hallowed ground, of which now even my necromantic vision is slightly waxing and waning with the coming of the tides. But they needed to rest, and certainly they did. So with that, a rest they shall complete. But first, strange things are afoot, more so even still when, after a long rest, a number of things begin to wax and wane as time itself distorts and twists within that of the Fey Wild. Let's tune in and find out what happens. So, as you all begin to take your long rest, you guys probably set up different watches, things of that nature. Again, not going to do any of the weird force stuff. It's always like, there's definitely a time for a gotcha, but I feel on hallowed ground that's probably like not the time for a gotcha. Those of you who are able to keep watch, I do want to know who would want to be watching during like the second round of watches.
I would have been, because I would have been done with my 4 hours of rest.
Okay. Is it the same for Morgan, since you're the other elf? The other half elf? Half.
Don't I sleep though?
You do sleep. Yeah. It's just up to you whether or not you want to be up for a second watch or not.
I'll take second.
Okay, 2 second watch. the first few hours of the night pass uneventfully. Morgan and Velithil, you both awaken and more or less just keep watch over the group as they come to be. You start feeling a number of soft, uneasy changes, different breaks for small bathroom visits, and the like. You definitely feel like the waxing and waning of the feast you had before entering this dark glade, and very much the entire realm of the Feywild itself, beginning to slowly leave from your system. The various hit point bonuses and the like, all slowly beginning to peel from there, almost as if a day is beginning to pass. Yes, 24 hours. What's your question?
It has?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't realize the 24 hours had passed. I thought we'd had like 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right. 8 hours of sleep here, fights, travel, all that fun stuff. A lovely brunch. But even still, it does seem as if it has been sooner than a full 24 hours since. There is a strangeness as your body's chemistry is already beginning to slightly feel these more primal vestiges cling to your elven forms. You begin to kind of watch over the camp. I need you both to make me perception checks if you're able.
I got an 11.
An 11, okay. And
17.
17, okay. With an 11, you keep watch over there. There are a number of things that weigh heavy on your mind, Vel. I do need you and I need JJ to both make me intelligence saving throws.
That's a 3 from JJ.
Okay?
21.
Okay. JJ, a fragment of your sanity leaves with you as you roll and toss. I mean, among unimaginable nightmares, you begin to hear the screams and pleas of help from the small candy kids that you have struck down and slain in the line of duty. It weighs heavy on your soul and truly fragments a bit of yourself. Keeping watch over as well, Vel, you do see there is tossing and turning from many in your group. Much of the night's rest seems to be taking a taxing toll on much of the people that you ally yourself with. At this point, I need Celeste to make me a Constitution saving throw.
It's a 19.
19, okay. A chemical change begins to take place within Celeste. You begin to feel uneasiness twisting and turning within your abdomen, a very upset stomach, a very pained hunger that drives through you. You feel your heart begin to escalate and then slow down, almost seemingly unnaturally. As you both keep watch over the night, there are a number of strange things that begin to occur, nights and definitely sounds that go bump in this evening. You look across the boundary of this consecrated land and you feel a presence that is watching you. And you both also notice another thing. Celeste, I need you to make me a charisma saving throw. I will roll these things.
20.
20, okay. So with that, you feel kind of a take hold, a root. You have a dream as if you are able to see the tops of the trees, the canopies themselves. You feel the wind across your face, and all the while you continue to race across the openness that is the Fae. You can see a number of remarkable creatures, those of which you do not truly identify, but you have a sensation that only your own imagination bears you still to the ground this day. Your pair of elven watchers look over and you can see Celeste is levitating, roughly 3 feet outside of her bedding, her blanket slowly peeling off to the side of her, and the smell of cinnamon hangs heavy across her sweat.
That's not normal.
No, probably not. Should we try waking her?
Um. Yeah. Let's give her a little tap.
Right.
Sweetie.
Like, shake her awake. Celeste, as your eyes open, you fall about 2 feet from the air. And kind of land back in your bedding, and you look around. You have the last fragments of your soaring, beautiful dream of going across the open-aired skies immediately cut short, and you are dragged down into a slam. And you wake up with a panic as you now are on the ground once again among friends.
What happened?
You were floating about 1.5 feet above the ground. You now
Foot
like
and a half?
a little bit of cinnamon of her sweat, and yeah, you're sweating cinnamon.
Does it taste good?
I'm not going to eat it. That was the thing I chose not to do earlier.
Tastes good. Tastes fine. Think I'm cursed?
Or just having really bad magic broom indigestion.
Will it go away soon?
Well, JJ was able to lesser resto away the candy condition of the Lupin child. So that's an option we have.
And I could do that tomorrow.
You could just do that. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel okay?
I think so. It's just kind of warm in here, right? But that's more. It's warm in here, right?
It's warm in here.
Okay.
A lot of people are sweating.
A lot of people are sweating. You look across, and there is a shine and a glisten to Orville's face. The front of his face seems almost radiantly so, almost kind of like inhumanly so. You kind of look at his face, and there is a glistening gleam of the bright lights of the sun that is still beaconing down from this clearing, and there is like a sheer look to his skin, a pallor that seems as if the green of his goblin heritage has faded in parts, but his cheeks are these bright globules of glowing green. But there is a hardness to his looks. You look over where JJ is, and she is shuddering and shaking, and soft coughs are emanating from that. You look, and as she kind of like rolls over on her side, the entirety of her face is coated in blood.
I think that's more important than my floating.
I do need a sanity check from Celeste, from Morgan, and from Vel at seeing their friend masked in a crimson face.
I'm sorry, what kind of check?
It's a sanity check, so it'll be an intelligence saving throw. Same thing as the old Balport game.
Awesome. Man, switch up your dice. 18.
18. All right. You see this, but you've seen a long, bloody campaign of war so far. You're fine. You're like, okay, great. Morgan, where are we at? An 8. You see this, and it shakes you a bit to your core. Your friend is clearly dying. Oh my God, is she already dead? Her bedding is coated in waves of crimson, and it just looks disgusting. It is a messy scene. You lose a point of sanity. And Vel, where are we at?
13.
13? Surprisingly, Vel, you do hold on to your sanity. It is frightening, but it's not that frightening.
Seen some shit.
You did lose an arm.
I'm gonna go over to JJ and just kind of like It's kind of weird. Kind of like scoop her, like in my arms, to kind of like get the blood off her.
You scoop her into your
Kind of like
arms.
slowly wake her.
JJ slowly flutters to consciousness. Her head is spinning. JJ, this entire time you've been having this strange dream of running through a forest, shifting and turning into your more jackalopian form, and literally bouncing. You can always feel in this dream the presence of an unknown predator, these eyes heavy upon you. You hear this constant harrowing you. You run through the forest, and in your dream, as you watch yourself bound and leap over logs, across roots and crags, you cannot escape this looming presence of death, this hunter unseen, but you can see through its own eyes yourself as you slowly, your form, your mental embodiment within your dream becomes not unlike that of a mere rabbit with horns, a very small, defenseless creature needing to run and hide. You wake, and you find yourself sitting at 1 hit point, conscious and bleeding out.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
Okay.
No.
You taste the iron of blood in your mouth. You look, your bedding is completely covered. You've been sweating blood most of the night. Your nose drains from it like a cruel sickness.
I need to get out of here.
Out of the dome, or like out of this area?
Out of this area. I can't be here.
Okay. Okay.
Has she had a full rest yet, or no?
You are on the precipice of a full rest.
Shh. Okay. If I stay here, I'm gonna die. I feel that horrible.
Okay. Do you want me to go with you? I'll go with you.
I can make a hut outside of this, yeah. That's fine. I can do it by myself. Y'all are safe here. Don't risk it for me.
Finish
No.
my rest, so I will be going with you.
I will as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Orville and Cobalt Jones
Orville.
sleep soundly.
Why is Orville so shiny?
He's very shiny.
He's glistening.
Glistening's a good word for it.
His like color is changed, right?
Yeah,
He looks like
his pigment has changed for certain.
Just positively glowing.
Great look.
By
By the way, the new season of that's on Netflix, and it's awesome. Sorry.
God, they're gonna have to deal with no more domes. So. Just JJ's gonna scribble a note as she just drips blood everywhere, I assume.
Where do you keep your paper? In your bag?
Yeah, it's usually in her backpack.
You look at your backpack, and it is covered in rotting mass. The cloth itself is coated in black, heavy, rotted, fungal-looking masses that have sealed the bag shut in almost a cocoon-like nature of fuzzy, almost plaguish looking rot.
Oh, shit.
Hey, JJ.
It's the knife.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's gonna kick her bag out
You
of the dome.
You kick your bag and it rolls flumping through the dome, and it immediately falls apart. The threads and parchment and everything that's in your backpack seems to have, if it isn't, unless it's magical, seems to have gained some type of corruption or rot upon it.
Sick. I got nothing left.
Didn't even have to pierce anything to do that.
No.
I'm not sure if I'm impressed or like sickened.
Maybe
The
if
answer's both.
maybe if that stays out there and I stay in here, maybe that'll be better.
Yeah.
You do look.
Yeah.
All right, who's trained in insight among the people who are awake? Celeste, go ahead and roll insight. What'd you get?
13.
13. You take a moment to kind of examine the situation. You look, and your bedroll is pretty close to JJ's. The fact that JJ's dying and you have no ill effects would have you believe that the bag is not the root cause of her issues. And this is a small dome. It's only 10 by 10. Like, you guys are kind of layered in here like sausages.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, look, I know
wanna
we
just
thought.
go back to sleep.
No, here's the thing. I know we thought it was the bag and, the knife, but here's the thing. We're pretty close together, like, basically touching, and I don't feel ill. Well, besides the floating thing. But otherwise, I don't feel ill. So maybe it's not that. I'm gonna touch JJ's shoulder and do lay on hands for 10 points.
For 10 points?
Yeah, she's at 1, right?
Mm-hmm, she is at 1.
Ah.
You feel this divine radiance cascade over JJ. No effect.
Oh,
Okay, all right. Well, it's either I die in here or I die out there.
okay, maybe we should die out there.
Sure. If someone would like to let,
Yeah.
someone needs to tell the boys.
Oh yeah,
we'll
the
all
boys.
move. We'll
Forgot
just,
about them.
Mhm.
we'll just move out a little bit. Now I'll wake Orville and Cobalt Jones and
Okay.
Buddy.
You shake Orville awake, and as his eyes open up, you see these strange looking spirals that seem to weave around his irises, these bright red candy cane like circles. Almost these crazed looking hypnotic patterns exist within the orbital of his eyes themselves. He stares back at you, bright and awake and cognitive in himself. We'll get to the other ones in a second. Orville, you wake up?
Bright, cognitive, just waking up.
Yeah, seems great. You actually look, and everything, as you take it in, seems even brighter than you remember it when you fell asleep. Like, super happy. And you can, like, you start putting your ear to the wind. I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, we're great at those.
Your goblinoid ear kind of perks up. You're like, huh.
6.
6. You hear it. You hear music in the background of your mind. This just echoing, engrossing, unending and ceaseless sound of la 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 on repeat forever.
Orville considers throwing himself upon the blade in the center of the clearing.
Yeah, Orville can just go ahead and lose a point of sanity. I think that's safe to say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As Orville sits there, Vel, and you're kind of like taking him in, every so often Orville's shoulders go up and back down and up and back down. And he's kind of got this like almost slow, like idle dance to him.
Celeste, do you have any more of those disease removal inspirational speech touches that you can do?
On JJ?
Well, I mean on Orville. I think he's becoming candy.
JJ's
Really?
gonna start just slowly I'm gonna assume that she feels so weak and horrible that she just can barely walk, so she's just starting to crawl towards the exit.
You crawl the moment you leave the boundary of the sphere, the dome erupts into just musical notes that slowly banish with your arcane magic. You guys look across, you see Buddy looks mostly the same. Cobalt Jones, however, now has like this glorious looking, like almost like toupee looking hair that's sprouted overnight, and it is beautiful and bountiful, and it is this pale white, almost platinum blonde look.
I already did that to Orville before we went to bed, remember?
Yes,
do it
to
again?
remove his diabetes, but I think he's. I don't know. I know that the Lesser Restoration was able to remove the candy condition of. It's worth
La
a
la
try.
la 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 la.
Okay.
la la.
I could do that.
La la la.
And Celeste will put her hand on Orville's shoulder.
Mhm.
Okay, no more sweets for you. Okay, no more.
But they're so good.
I know. No, listen. I get that. Okay, I totally understand. But not everybody processes their little systems the same way, and so you just no more. Okay, just no more. And I will pump 5 points into his little body.
Mm-hmm. For remove disease?
Yes.
Yeah, you pump 5 more points in
Wait,
him.
do I have to? I'm sorry. Do I have to pick between? Right, I have to pick between.
You choose an effect to end.
Disease
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Of your divine, you can choose to end one of the effects. But you can
okay, wait.
you can attempt to
I already-
cure a poison, and there could not be poison.
I already did disease, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna try poison.
Okay. You release 5 points of blessing. You give your Celeste, we now know, is a bit of a camp counselor when it comes to lay on hands. Kind of like, hey, you can't be smoking crack, man. Like there's like the after school special. Like, hey, I'm your friend, and like, aren't we friends? Because like you can trust me as your therapist, right? There's definitely like moment of that. You feel something kind of take root of Orville, and you purge a bit of it, and you start feeling this poison that you feel kind of like exit and egress from him. Orville, you definitely feel like a bit better. Your color kind of returns a bit to your face, your eyes, the bright, like minty stripes that encircle your iris are now kind of like faded, just like kind of like heavy looking veins that hang in there. It seems as if whatever ill effect is progressing across your form has been suppressed for the moment. But you don't feel as if you've purged it.
I feel better, but I think we might need something more serious to truly fix this.
I'm gonna try again.
You hit him again. No additional effect.
It might be another curse.
JJ is crawling, bleeding into the woods.
Gosh.
You've got this. You're doing a great job. I'm going to go with JJ.
Go with JJ. JJ, are you attempting to exit the hollowed area?
Yes.
You cross the boundary, and it's almost like entering from a hot Floridian day into like a Walmart. You feel an immediate breeze and relief and cold wash over you, almost like a curtain. And the moment that you clear the boundary, your heart rate slows. Your body starts to kind of regain a bit of its strength. Your skin regains some color, and you feel much better. You're still at 1 hit point, but you do feel much better.
Oh, God. That was horrible. She's just gonna start weaving her tiny hut again. Outside.
Drawing it in blood outside the hut.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy to do. You spend 10 minutes humming a song to yourself, and a ball of force emanates around you, and you create your tiny hut once again, just now outside of the hollowed ground.
Do you want to have like a potion or anything, or just?
I'll just sleep it off. I feel so much better out here.
All right, I'm going to keep an eye on you if you start dying, and then I'm going to try and not let that happen.
That's a good idea. Thanks, Ma.
Yeah.
And she's out. I assume that she will just pass out at this point.
I'm going to try and make sure that if there's any ground that we're touching, it's not beginning to cover and engulf her or my legs.
Yeah. You look it over, and you you like kind of look over the ground, and it looks like it's trying to like slowly encroach, but once the force dome kind of solidifies out, it seems to cut a number of these living vines and creatures, and manage to kind of like push them out. So no problem there. As long as you like mat the ground really hard, you should be fine.
Yeah, I'll just make sure that JD doesn't start actually dying. Then
Sure.
that's the rest of my watch.
Okay, easy to do. So for the rest of you, what do you want to be doing?
I guess I'll wake up and I'll brush the hair out of my eyes and be like,
You,
"Hey guys, what's up?"
you've got like the guy with a bald spot that's wearing like fake hair. It's just enough to cover like the top kind of ridge of your koboldian scales. And it kind of like splits over the top a bit.
Like a former president.
I wouldn't say that because I could get in trouble. So, however your imagination takes you there, Kobold Jones, that is what we'll say is true.
I said what I said.
You said what you said. That's fine. I didn't say it. So yes, what would you like to do?
All right, so should we go mess with that sword?
No, Kobold. I need like 2 more hours of sleep, man. Also, I'm so sorry, but I was so wrong about you going bald. Look at that. Wow. All right, I'm gonna go back to sleep.
I guess I'd actually need another hour as well. So you snooze, you win, and I'll hit the bed and pass out instantly.
Okay. Going in the dome or staying where you're at?
That's a good question.
Hey, that's why I asked it.
I guess I'll hop with my bedroll like a sack and go over to the dome and crash in there.
Okay. Yeah, you crash in. Orville?
Orville's just gonna drag his bedroll behind him, a la Charlie Brown,
Okay.
and then go crash in the force dome out yonder.
All right. Celeste and Vel and Morgan?
I'm gonna go back into the dome.
All right. You walk back into the dome. Vel, you're already there looking over your bleeding daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You see Buddy slowly kind of like come to consciousness from his meditative state. Buddy, of all elves, though, doesn't really like properly meditate anymore. Buddy does one of those like dad on a fire mantle leans and like kind of just like lays long ways and is like, And then finally he's like, I'm awake. Kind of just looks up and he goes, oh, what happened here? Like looks around and looks to Morgan and goes, are we moving camp? I thought this was the safe place, or is it, we're not supposed to stay here any longer?
I think it'll be safer to move camp.
Okay.
In case.
Well, okay, well, I'll go there. Are you coming, or?
Yeah, I'll be along in a second.
Okay, well, I'll see you when I see you. Make sure, don't use any leaves around here. Maybe with some parchment or something. He kind of like walks away and then like walks into the new dome and goes, hello, good evening, everyone. And sits back down. Like, and starts like, he pulls out a book and starts writing. So, as you all enter the dome, Morgan, you are left in the grove yourself. What would you like to do?
I'd just like to check out the area just a little bit more.
Sure. Walking up to anything in particular, or just making like a walk around the long area?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to a red orb that I notice.
Ooh, okay. So, you make way
Not too close, but-
across the clearing. You pass by the large pinned body of whatever this ancient thing is that is impaled with this short blade. You make way to the clearing and you kind of turn around and look, and you see this large kind of red orb being held in the hands of what looks like a very large, almost bovine-like creature. It is, as you see, what appears to be an apple. but it is roughly the size of maybe like a baby doll's head. And it's being held in this kind of like very heavy shoulders, big black gnarled horns twisted in on themselves, a big what looks like a kind of a not so much a metal ring coming from the nose, but like actually like carved stone with vine work that kind of runs the length of it. And these kind of piercing, bright blue eyes that seem to stare out at you. And as it just kind of stands there stoically, and you kind of match eyes with it, you hear like a grunting, like. What do you want to do?
It's inside the clearing, right?
No, it's on the exact outside of the clearing. It is like right up to the entryway, and it's just staring you, like staring directly at you. And you noticed it earlier when all the crisis was going on, but it definitely has like a certain look to it that would have you believe that it has been watching this camp now for quite some time.
I think I'm just gonna say hello.
Okay, you like raise your hand and say hello to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see here. So as you kind of raise your hand and kind of like wave to it, you see this large kind of bull-like creature stare and kind of look in your direction. You can see there are a number of large kind of like slabs of wood and different carvings that are all kind of made up and ramshackled across its back, and kind of tethered with large strands of weaved thread. It kind of looks to you and you hear,
"Well, hello. Not often are there elves here. What brings you by?" Oh,
Oh, just visiting for now.
just visiting. Not for long, I'd imagine.
Not much longer.
Didn't seem your friend is doing too good, I would say.
Doesn't seem like she is. You wouldn't happen to know anything about it, would you?
Maybe. But nothing comes free here. Why don't you step into my office? We can talk.
You mean outside the clearing?
It's more comfortable out here.
I don't know. I think I like the sunshine.
You see their blue eyes peer up and look and dilate as they look at the light, and there's like this like shake of the head, and like slowly this large bull's face kind of looks over, and yeah, it kind of has this like very like annoyed look to it. It goes,
Can't say that I feel the same.
Oh, are you not able to step in here?
Not able, and choosing not to, do wildly different things, I might say.
Okay. So let's just say I step out. What kind of price are you asking to find out about my friend?
Well, what your friend needs is to know where they're at. I happen to know where you stand, and truly, I am welcoming to elvenkind. Why don't I trade you a bite?
Of that apple there?
Why don't I call you Apple?
You can call me that. That's fine.
Well then, yes. A single bite of apple.
Obviously, the thing in your hand and not me, right?
If that's what you want to say. Hunting is very much drying up in this place.
I can tell.
So you can.
So why don't you leave?
Hmm.
Go somewhere else.
Nowhere else to go. Everywhere's claimed or worse. Terrible things outside this forest. And who am I to leave for their homelands?
Out of character, would
Mhm.
Vel be able to hear me if I mention something? I know you guys can hear it in the tent, but
Yeah, I don't think sound passes through the dome. So they are currently deaf to the situation.
okay.
They're probably on like the far end of the clearing enough. I don't think does JJ, can you read the spell? Because I think it
Yeah.
definitely blocks sight. I know that much, but I don't know how it else. It blocks sight. Things can't get in or out of it. I'm not sure if you can. You can't cast spells through it, but I don't know if you can yell through it or not.
All right. Here's the full text. A 10-foot radius, a mobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you and remains stationary for the duration. The spell ends if you leave the area.
Mhm.
9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with you. The spell fails if the area includes a larger creature or more than 9 creatures. Creatures and objects within the dome, when you cast this spell, can move through it freely. All other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can extend through the dome or be cast through it. The atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry regardless of weather outside. That's pretty much it
Okay.
as
So,
far as what goes in and out.
yeah. So like nothing.
There's a couple of extra lines here.
What else?
There is, but
Yeah.
it's not
Oh,
anything about going in or out.
Oh yeah, but the dome is opaque from the outside, but transparent from the inside is somewhat relevant here, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, if you were to raise your voice in like a yell or a scream or like just be very very loud, there's a chance your friends would definitely hear you then.
So why can't you just eat that apple there?
This apple is not for me to eat. Maybe you, apple, are the one to eat this fruit. I've held it for so long, guarded over it for centuries. Maybe you're the one whose fangs can break its hide.
And what would happen if I do?
Untold possibility. Knowledge beyond your years. A new life awaits.
Would I be stuck holding it now?
I cannot say. I've never done it myself. But I've also never seen a creature whose fangs could pierce its shiny red hide. Should yours do such, elf, you would be the first.
I don't think that they could pass through it.
Hmm. You never know before trying. So come out here and let's find out. A deal's a deal.
What happens if I say no?
Nothing. I'll just be here, watching with bated curiosity. Sooner or later, you'll leave. Go somewhere new. Maybe lead the way to somewhere different.
I thought you didn't want to go anywhere else, though.
Sometimes you have to hunt in other areas for a bit to eat. But
Survival and all that.
of course, I am not so savage, however, that I wouldn't offer you chance.
A chance.
Yes, to handle this civilly.
Well, I'm not really in the market to make any deals.
Hmm. Then I hope you have a great evening. Rest well, and tell your friend they tread on dangerous ground for who they are.
I will be sure.
Like moths to a flame.
What flame?
What flame indeed.
Well, it was a lovely chat. I'm sure you'll hang out, but
With bated breath.
You just see them like staring at you with these like again these like kind of like tightly packed like bovine like eyes. They're like it's very a muscular creature, but you can see these piercing like blue lights that kind of emanate from these like glistening orbs that make their eyes. They have those very big, heavy cow eyes that kind of stare at you from these like very like hooded and like sunken in eyes.
I'm just gonna nod at him and then like kind of head towards the tent,
Mhm.
but not leaving the clearing just yet.
Okay.
So I'll see what he does.
You start making your way towards the tent. You see just like a simple watch. And like as you start moving a little bit closer, the creature's head slowly just kind of like tracks you the entire time.
But he stays over there on the other side.
Mhm.
Okay. I will make my way for the tent.
Okay. You make your way to the tent. You see the entire time. Anytime you peek over your shoulder, those blue eyes staring at you. And you make your way into the Lehman's tiny hut. Most of your friends are already asleep or on watch or trying to wash JJ's blood off of her face. But otherwise, nothing out of place.
Hey, Mom. Or Dusty. Whichever you prefer.
Yes, feline friend?
It seems to be that we have some company wanting to just watch us.
I'm not surprised, I'm sure. This is a place that things tend to monitor. We were warned not to. Take any interest. What do they want?
Said he wanted a bite of an apple and then called me apple, and now he's holding some big ol' orb-like apple. The usual.
Bartholomew chimes in and goes, "That sounds horrific and terrible."
I hate that that's the usual.
I'm learning more and more, yeah. That seems pretty bad. They still
Wow.
out there?
Oh, absolutely.
Buddy immediately like puts his face up to the force bubble and is like starts like scanning the tree line looking for this thing.
If it wants a fight, it'll get a fight once we're in proper order to do it. But we're not making any arrangements with... anyone else, unless it seems truly productive. I don't like how this one sounded.
Alright. You guys gotta complete your long rest. Anything else you want to do? No? Alright. So yeah, time passes fairly uneventfully. JJ, you do begin to recover. All of you regain full hit points, full spells, and half of your total hit dice are all restored from your time sleeping in the Feywild. Yes.
Half of the new current total, or half of actual
Half of
total?
whatever your maximum amount is. That's what
Okay.
the rules of a long rest. You get half of your hit dice back.
I wasn't... but they still max
Yeah.
at whatever we spent.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't like, I'm suddenly more healthy than the blood in my body.
That's why I was
No, just letting people know
trying to
that
understand the current...
the last long rest was inside of a place where you could not recover hit dice, letting you know you can recover half of your hit dice if they're missing.
Okay.
So yeah, half of your maximum is restored. If that brings you to full, then you can only have as many hit dice in your body as you have levels. So I don't think you can go above 5 right now.
Oh, so it isn't what we... so it can go above what we had spent before.
Correct. Yes.
To the casino.
Mhm,
The casino,
yes.
the arcade.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
You're no longer in a place that it matters that they take those from you.
I understand.
Gotcha.
We're rounding down, right?
I always round up. I just think it's more fun to round up. 5th edition says round down. I think that's dumb. I like rounding up. It feels more fun. It makes odd levels more fun. Instead of like, it feels bad. I'm only at like 2.5, so I only get 2. I'm like, that's dumb. I like rounding up. It's more fun. Make it more dangerous. But yeah, you all come to a rest, and you awaken, and you've completed your long rest. JJ, everyone, you all are feeling better. Gear aside, you look, and the remnants of your now fallen backpack are strewn out across the like fungal and covered area. You look, and much of the plant life around here is already sprouting like brightly colored, like dazzling mushrooms in various different directions. And you can see poised on the like the top of one of these mushrooms is this sickening looking piece of sharpened candy corn, almost like this like hooked blade of candy corn.
That thing's nasty.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a
that's just where that
bed of
is now.
fungus.
I don't want to go back in there. Can someone go grab my deck, my wand, and the few business cards that I have? That'd be super awesome. And my last health potion. I don't want to go back in there. To be really honest.
I could get it for you. I just gotta put on this armor first.
Kobold's just like strapping his plate mail back on. Give me like an hour, kid. I'll get you on. He's doing it up. You guys all consume rations or whatever you have on hand for a start to the day. But yeah, after breakfast and getting all set up, Kobold Jones, you can easily retrieve those items for JJ. They're in a
I
pile.
give JJ a ration.
Okay, you hand a ration to JJ. Yeah. Bartholomew looks over at JJ and goes, I know it's not much, but here. And offers his entire backpack to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so there's like 4 employee manuals in there. I've written in the margins mostly slurs, so don't read those. It's a lot of bad names for gnomes. Also, and I'm just gonna, I don't want to like take things back, but hold on. He reaches into his backpack and he pulls out like a long, like slender, like looking tome. He's like, I'm just gonna hold on to this one, and he tucks it into his cloak. He goes, everything else though, got like there's like a couple days worth of rations you gave me. I think there's a knife in there still, and some rope, some shoestring, a bootstrap, the lid to a trash can that I found like half bent and folded up. I just thought it might be useful.
That's in the backpack?
Yeah, no, it's like someone like really mangled the heck out of it in one of the cities we stayed in, so I just picked it up, and I thought it was littering, and I was gonna throw it away eventually, but it's just in there.
What's that book? Is that like your record keeping book?
Huh? No, it's just yeah, yes.
Can I see it?
I
almost died last night. Can I see it?
Give me a persuasion check.
$16.
16. There's like this moment of like, no, that seems bad. No, and he's like, well, you did almost die. Sure. And he kind of like looms over you a little bit, and like as skinny as Bartholomew is, and he like slides out this like long, thin black book and like hands it to you. It was just hold judgment if you could.
She'll like kind of read through the first couple pages, just seeing what it is.
You see in like bright calligraphy on the first page, it's like this beautiful thing. Do you read Elven?
I do.
Okay. In Elven, in like glorious calligraphy to the point where like the letters and like long kind of like flows of letters, you see like the Elven word for seekers, and the S's are like long vines that have flowers growing off of them. Gulanti as a word has like these kind of like oaken looking kind of crescents for the G. And it's just this very like meticulously mapped out thing. You look it over and like you start realizing this is a book that is both a somewhat diary and record keeping for Bartholomew, and probably what he spends most of his time doing when he's not sleeping or pretending to still be asleep because he doesn't like to actually take watch. And he doesn't want to get blamed for things. And so you look through it, and like on the very first page, there is a picture of like a glorious like canvas like picture that it's like a sketch of Velithil, with like the city backdrop of Orin in the background, like the docks. And it's like, it kind of has that like hand scratch thing, and it has her name like Velithil Dowenvey, Lady of Aurelia, and it's like all very bright calligraphy. You flip it over, and you look it across, and there's each and every one of you. Like you like start seeing like all these like portraits. JJ, yours is like your hand is like outstretched, seeming like in the middle of a chant, and you recognize the background as being like the cultist circle for all of the lizard folk from the battle you guys had taken part in. Orville's, you look and there's like a big like kind of like heavy fighting stance with blood coming down at his face, and it's all like remarkably well illustrated for each of you. And then you get to like the last like couple of pages, and there is the name is like mapped out, like it's like all like the sketch layer for it for Celeste. And there's like a couple of like notes in the margins that are written there, and it's like all of it is like Slayer, strong woman, and there's like lines through it, and like you can see like eraser marks and stuff. And then it's like there's one that says like crusher of chocolate, and there's like a question mark next to it. And then you can see like a small kind of like pencil outline of Celeste in like this full baseball bat swing. You flip it over and you can see like just the face of Kobold Jones, and there's so much eraser over like the top of his head. And there's like just the tiniest little doodle of hair now, and there's like question marks around it, and you see like notes in the margin like don't make him too small or it'll be offensive, don't make him too big or it'll be offensive, probably shouldn't do this, it seems offensive. And then like the name Kobold Jones is like partially sketched out, but Kobold is like way off to the side, and there's like a note that says like name or race. and there's like a lot of like discerning things, and then you like flip past like where the illustrations are for the group, and you look and you can actually see like further in the book there are like beautifully done and hand like drawn and like painstakingly so like calligraphy written, and it's a lot of notes about like the adventure so far, and like it starts with like, my life has started today, I have left the Sea Salt and Sunday Saloon, and like it like kind of is like a memoir of like Buddy's life starting the day you guys found him.
Oh no. Buddy, this is amazing.
It's nothing really. If you could just give that back to me, I would.
Yeah, of course. I can't wait to see when you're done.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's garbage. I will. Thank you. And he kind of just like he like closes it with your hand still on the bottom of it, and he like closes it back, and like you look it over, and it's like every person there. The one thing you do note as well, as like he goes to close it, is there is a almost finished piece that's like right towards the end, and the only thing you really see of this like inked and like heavily like painted photo is a like the makings of parts of an image. Go ahead and make me a perception check to see if you notice it.
18.
18. Yeah, you get a completely glimpse of a like almost done, and like there are like small almost like soft colors that have been adhered to it, like it's actually being like painted and like using like watercolors to slowly fill it in, but you see a long crescent longbow and a very 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 fat cat sitting over the shoulder of somebody who is like full on like battle stance shooting. And that's like one of the first ones that seems like almost done, as like he like slams it closed and like grabs it and like tucks it into his jacket.
You sure you don't want this backpack to keep that safe?
No, it's fine. If this gets ruined, then that's fine. We'll just we'll throw it in the garbage.
I'll just take like the outside pocket for my stuff. It's fine.
No, please. You are a champion of justice and heroism. You deserve to have a backpack. Just don't put any more terrible things on in there anymore. All right, thank you. And he like walks away. Like you get that like kid that showed you his doodle book in like high school vibe, where he's just like, all right, cool, yep, no heroes, and like walks off, and it's like, I could, you know what, I'm gonna go. Can we leave this dome? I'm gonna leave the dome, and he just like walks into the clearing and is like starts stretching, like starts doing like what amounts to like bad like early dad stretching, just like, oh yep, gonna put my hand over my head and we're gonna do one of these, and like just staring up into the sun like, oh yep.
JJ will kind of just rush everyone else out because she had recasted Tiny Hut, so she's just gonna sit in the middle of her tiny hut.
Okay.
While everyone else does whatever they want to do.
Sure.
She does not want to go back in that dome.
Yeah. Up to you guys. So what does the group want to do? You recovered JJ's things. You see Bartholomew like rush out of the dome, just like, oh yep, time to get an early start to the day, and like zooms out.
Can I have Orville try and convince Buddy to join him in some early morning cardio?
Cardio? Yeah, you don't have to convince me of anything, Mr. Orville. I am fit as a fiddle, as they say. I don't want to toot my own horn, but how about we go for a jog?
I don't like leaving this area.
No, just like in a circle, like a wide circle.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We could do that around the dome.
All right. Do it. Buddy immediately drops his trousers, and underneath there are the shorts from his Sea Salt and Sunday Saloon outfit. He's like, all right, gotta get those legs out there. And like starts like stretching these very long, gangly legs.
Orville will join him in the stretches.
All right. Yeah. Easy enough to do. You guys start getting through and more or less just like getting ready for stretching, and then like an early morning jog to begin. What do the rest of you all want to do? For anyone who has never seen Buddy's work attire, there we go. Minus the hat. Great shorts. Great shorts to get a good start on the day.
Great shorts, even better legs.
Yeah, exactly. Got these legs.
Saloon was a grand place.
Mm-hmm. Delightful.
Wonderful milkshakes.
Yes.
So start heading over to the weapon.
Okay. Yeah, you walk over to the weapon. You look at it's exactly the way you left it.
Jones.
Yeah, Mom.
I'm not going to stop anyone who wants to risk touching that thing. But its mere presence literally makes JJ melt. And I have no interest in claiming it for our group any further, but if someone wishes to, you can, but know that such things known as relics, and items that can contain even wills of their own, are not to be trifled with, and you could lose your own will to it. And in that could cause harm to JJ.
Don't we need it to be able to kill Handsome Shiny Man and then leave this godforsaken place, though?
I'm sure that its power would help us in that task, but sometimes you have to weigh the costs and the health and life of my friend. That's not something that I'm interested in. But if you want it, you can risk it. Just understand the risks and the warnings. I can't give you any more information because I'm not willing to touch it to try and identify what little bit of information I could.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think? And I'll ask Celeste.
I don't know. Definitely concerning that JJ can't get very close to it without feeling so ill. It's the whole point that we came this far and that we even fought little gingerbread men, for lack of better. I don't.
Just
I
real
also
quick.
saved a young Lycan's life and have my bag here full of about 16 small candles that we need to fix sometime.
JJ?
Over breakfast rations, JJ would have told y'all to make a decision not based on her. Because we're. This is the greater good, the mission, whatever. We came out here. She would have told you guys whatever you guys want to do.
As you're having the discussion, a very trot-happy Orville and a wheezing, gasping Bartholomew are like, "Oh, Mr. Orville, you can run. Oh, hey, I'm just gonna sit right here on the ground, thanks. Okay." Like sits down and is like gasping, like, "Does anyone have water?"
I'll pass Buddy some water.
He drinks it like it's the last Gatorade on the planet. Just like,
Oh. Okay, but listen, you're responsible for filling that back up, okay?
okay. Wipes his
All
mouth.
right. Okay.
Can I have Orville take like a spare T-shirt or something and just fan Buddy? Help
Yeah.
cool him down a little bit.
Thank you. I will repay this kindness, Mr. Judd. I will.
Make sure you drink that slow,
you're
buddy.
fine.
You don't want to
Good
get a
for you.
tummy ache.
Oh, yeah. Nope. I'm good. Thank you. Woo, working out. Couple of rough and tumble men we are.
Alright, well, I guess there's only one more thing to do. A green machine
Yep.
You're the only one that I think I can truly trust with this.
Oh,
Should I grab the sword?
Before you make a rash decision, I know. I thought I saw one little word. It looked like it could be a complete word, but I can't read it. So it's definitely not. It's definitely not abyssal. It's definitely not celestial. So I mean, I don't know. But do you want to try again? Like, look, I'll point it out to you.
Sure. Hold on a moment. He stands
Once
up.
you've caught.
You seem like, no, I'm good. Where?
Sure.
Yeah, no, I'm
Just worked out. That was a lot.
I'm with it. That was like not even a quarter mile. Good. Orville's not even tired. Sure. Where's the word that you found? The rune that you found, or the whatever?
Right. Okay. Do you see it? It's right there. Right.
Oh,
right there.
Yes, I see it. Oh, let me see here. Yes. That is primordial, rather old.
Primordial. I don't know
likely strange. I've never seen writing like this before, carved in this manner. It looks like it's almost been warped into the blade. Let's see here. If that is, so the line goes north and south, so it means change or shape. And then the crossing is it's a maker's mark, but I think it's a threat. I might be reading that wrong. I think it reads as morph or something. No. But the crossing on primordial typically means death or like a threatening. It might be the weapon's name, but I don't know. There are overlapping markings here.
A shapeshifter?
Shapeshifter? That wouldn't be bad. So yes, running north to south, and then the twisting of it. Yes, no, yes. So shifting, yes, at least.
Wait.
It's like shifting death or shifting. Could be a ward shifting, like perhaps shifting
JJ
bane.
say she's some type of like a shifter thingy?
Yes, she is.
You think that? Oh.
What? What did we owe?
Just don't. I don't know if this is a good idea. Personally.
Are we not here to acquire a relic that we can do battle with? I don't know what you all are here for. I'm fine either way. But I just, as they're having this conversation, Morgan, as you peer through the foliage, as I'm sure you're very aware of it, you see that creature has not moved an inch. You can see those piercing blue eyes still staring out into the open area. Hey, bud. There's a soft moment of recognition, and then a big cow-like hand, and then slowly it turns, and it's like it stomps a hoof. So what do you all want to do? Bartholomew will tell you the only thing I can discern from what you've shown me is it has something to do with shifting or a threatening aura of shifting. It is no doubt ancient. It is still intact and legible, so it's obviously have some magic. It's done something to the land, and whatever this poor fool was, it's no doubt old. I can verify the antiquity of it. I can't say for certain if it is. If it is so terrible that you can't keep it with you, then could it be brandished and then discarded, perhaps? I don't know how these things work. But the Weavers left items all over the world, is what we've been told.
So anyway, Green Machine, what do you think?
I am not green nor a machine.
Not you, Dad.
Oh, code names. Yes, sorry. Okay, I'm going to go stand over here now. Walks off.
I think it's pretty sweet. But if it does that to JJ, would it? But also do it to other shifters like Tabby. Speaking, where is Tabby? Shouldn't she be back by now?
It's early morning. She promised to be there like around morning. And still
Alright.
getting your day started.
Still got time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it could also hurt Tabby, and Tabby's supposed to lead us to where we're going.
You do know,
That's my concern.
as a point of order, there were no ill effects until like a prolonged amount of time was left in this area specifically.
All right.
It doesn't seem like JD didn't walk in here and collapse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
It was like a slow creeping.
We should take this thing, and that they would take us out of here. So does that mean that Tabby doesn't think that it's going to affect them?
I suppose Tabby's not too concerned with it, seeing as they didn't make much mention of it or nothing. They just said, this is where the forest don't grow none.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to go like this.
Grab your hands together. Reach out and grab it. Yeah, you reach for it and you feel this like almost like watching, lingering presence kind of like slowly entreat your mind. And you grasp your hand around the wood of the kind of like edge of the weapon itself and slowly begin to pull, and you feel a bit of give. There's a resistance at first as if something is gripping this blade. You kind of twist it, slightly rocking it back and forth, and you feel it come free of the wooden oak from it. You begin to pull this thing sickeningly from the inside of this creature. This purplish hueing blood begins to peel free from it and drip clean of this blade, and you see it is immaculate, shined to a razor's edge. The outside cresting of it is mirrored, and for a moment you can see the sunlight reflected in it. But even the sunlight itself has this pale white, almost dolorous look to it. Go ahead and make me either a nature check or an insight check.
Do insight. That's for 15.
15. You recognize it. It's almost as if the reflection of sunlight against this blade creates moonlight. It's a very strange look to it. But you hold this blade in your hand, and it is heavy, but there's also like a give to it and a weight to it. Just in like kind of like motioning it around back and forth, there is like almost a density to it as you kind of like just haphazardly move it in front of you and kind of like show it off to your friends. There is like a lightness to it and a playfulness to it. Anytime it like the tip of it crests towards the white body that is laying there on the ground, it seems to gain weight and heft and like a bit more like push to it. And there's like this strange kind of like draw to the creature. But you hold it in your hand.
Oh, this thing's pretty cool.
It is about the length of a short sword, but it is segmented in that way. It has a wooden hilt that then it has like an axe-like head blade to it.
All right, well, that was easy. Keep going.
How do you feel?
I mean, things are looking up. I got this cool shiny sword. I got a full head of hair. I'm ready to go kill some handsome shiny man.
Well, that's the wrong one. We're not looking for the handsome one.
Morgan, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Just about to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask if we could tell if the area was encroaching now.
Mm-hmm. What do we get?
Over these dice rolls, a 10.
A 10. You look over the area. Your passive perception is still higher. You look across the area. Velithil, I'm assuming you do the same. Kind of
Yeah, I
like
was
just
going to
scan
check
the
the perimeter if it was starting to move or anything.
You look, and slowly you can see, like gently at first, a couple of vines like entreat their way over this white area, and then like slightly tap it and recoil, and slowly begin to like seed their way into the area, but like very, very like ants go marching one by one speed. Go ahead and let me see here, Vel. I don't think your passive is high enough. 14's not bad though. Go ahead and roll it. Yeah. Go ahead and roll perception, Velithil. Orville's at 12, Kobold Jones is at 12, Celeste's at 11.
That's only a 9.
A 9. You look across the area, nothing really to like know about it. That you can see. So yeah, you hold this blade in your hand, Kobold Jones.
All right. Well, I guess now we await Wolf, Tabby.
Maybe we should let JJ know that we got it.
Well, she can see.
Oh, I thought she was still sleeping. Like, no longer, because she wanted more rest.
She just peer my head back in.
You walk
She
to the
just
edge.
doesn't want to go anywhere near this.
I'm now in a bubble suit.
Okay, well, should we start packing up and getting ready to go for when Tabby gets here? Or should we just wait till she
Have
gets
anything else to
back?
gather? I already have my things in order. Hopefully she won't
Oh.
be too much longer.
That's true. It's true.
Well, nothing happened.
Nothing yet.
True. Let's see if we can get some more answers, though, before we assume everything's fine. I am going to walk to the corpse and start identifying it.
You turn and look to the corpse, and as you guys kind of turn back to look at it, it's gone.
That's not
that
good.
checks out.
I don't think that's good.
Well, probably not. But honestly, we
What?
set it free, so it should be appreciative. So I don't think it'll be a problem for us.
Are you sure we said it? Are you sure it's a
We
good
took
thing
the
that we said
sword
it?
that was stopping it from, I'm going to assume, regenerating.
Oh.
Is the bowl still there?
You turn and look, and you can see the bull, and there is like a strangeness to it as it kind of stares off in your direction. You look, and like you can very much see where the bull was, and you can definitely see like the bull's shape. But as you find the exact place where it was, there is a pale white tree that was not there before, right next to it, and there is no movement coming from this bull. Before, every so often as you'd stare at them, you'd see like a blink or a motion or a move. But you just see their form is just staring directly at you. And beside them is now this like pale white tree that was not there before.
Well, that's weird.
What is?
That white tree over there that wasn't there before.
Morgan turns to the group, points out the white tree. As you guys all look, there's no white tree.
Are you feeling all right?
Do you still see a white tree?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Don't see
Morgan
it.
looks. There's no more tree. It's gone.
Oh.
In the small instance of like you staring directly at it, and then looking away to tell the group where it's at, and you go to point. There's no more tree. There's also no more bull.
Looks like our friend is gone with it.
Just gonna call this a win-win. We saved someone's life today.
Kobold Jones, you feel a hand on your shoulder.
Turn and look.
You turn and look, and there is this large, looming, white being that towers nearly 9 feet tall. The entire front of it is splayed in blood. And you kind of like see it look down at you with this formless, massless, gaunt-looking face. and as it opens what would be its mouth, it kind of stretches open, and you see a very large cut that was in the center of its chest where this blade used to be, run and split across the middle of it and begin to flay outward in like two separate directions as you see tendrils and like various massing of wriggling horror kind of like spray out for you all. I need everyone except for JJ to make me an intelligence saving throw versus fear. Orville, I'm assuming that's a fail.
That's a 3 on die.
It's a 3. You have the frightened condition, and you lose a point of sanity. Let's see here. Vel, what do we get?
16?
16. You have the frightened condition. You do not lose a point of sanity. Morrigan, what do we get?
14.
14. You have the frightened condition. You do lose a point of sanity.
Great.
Kobold Jones,
Dirty 20.
30-20, you're fine. Celeste,
I got a 13.
13. You lose a point of sanity, and you are frightened. You have the frightened condition. So your total for sanity is going to be your proficiency modifier, which is 3, plus your intelligence modifier. And that's your total threshold for crazy shit before you start going a little bit crazy. So with that, you watch the thing split in half and fall into 2 mounds before wiggling and twisting, and you start seeing color form in these 2 piles. They both rise up, and they are what appears to be about 6.5, 7 foot tall creatures that seem to stare at you, and their bodies begin to twist and morph into strange, unknowable things. What do you all want to do?
Hello.
You hear that echoing back from between the 2 of them like bullfrogs as their forming masses begin to twist and peel and enrapture across this new seemingly split form. You see each of them twist out, and their what would be a long kind of arm-like appendage twists out, and you can see each of them holds at the end of their respectively right and left appendages these like crusted over masses of like collected death that each segment and split off from the 2 massed forms.
Purple Kush, you speak Sylvan?
But I think this was the audio, wasn't it?
It's how the weapon you're holding was, and that's what took it down.
I'll speak in Sylvan. Hey, buddy, what's your problem?
What problem?
You see it constantly kind of like reverberate the sounds that keep coming out from the group.
It's not working, Mom.
Mom. Mom. Mom. Mom. Mom. Mom.
You see the pair of forms continue to twist and turn, and slowly you can see these pale forms begin to darken. You hear a crunching sound from within both of them, and you hear this kind of like almost bone snapping from each of them from deep within themselves. This bright red pigment from the front of them now bleeding internally from them, and this dark, almost mange begins to form across their sides.
I say let them take form.
Alright.
We no reason to make these things our enemies.
Yeah, let's just be real friendly with them.
You guys, so you're gonna wait for them to form?
JJ, how long does that dome last for?
About how many hours do you think that we slept in the dome?
Definitely 8.
Well, the second one.
Oh, the second dome? At least 6.
Okay, so
If we need to, we can rush in there and see. But
yeah, this thing's just about up, probably.
give us a moment's reprieve.
You watch and you can see strands of tendrils emanate out from the tops of what would be the kind of like almost mocking look of a humanic form. These tendrils begin to dye various colors before settling on like bright purples, each of them kind of like looking across and seeming this with this faceless form that cannot breathe nor speak nor scream across like Velethil's form. And you see them, these tendrils turn purple and begin to enrapture and twist across their, what would be their heads. The pair of them continue to like twist and mold, and you can see shoulders as they turn and look at Orville. There's musculature that begins to form. They look to Kobold Jones, and their chest bows out, seeming to mimic the armor worn across your chest. Celeste, you see the sharp, kind of like strong jawline begin to formulate in these very like angelic features that cut across your face. Morgan, the same thing. As they kind of twist and look at you, there is a slenderness but athleticism that is present. And then you see one of them turn and look to Bartholomew, and there's a twisting, and you see like a almost like a pain as its chest twists inward and then bows out rather sharply. Are you all going to wait until they finish whatever that is that they're doing?
I think someone might have killed these things for a reason, but if you think that they can be reasoned with, Mom, you know more about this kind of weird magic stuff than I do.
Can I do an Arcana check or history check?
Sure. You can roll either one, whatever you'd like.
For an Arcana, that'll be a 19.
A 19?
Wait, does it get half? Do I take for frightened?
It is disadvantage, I believe, on all skill checks, but let me double check.
Is it skill checks?
I think so. Let me see here. Let me see here. Frightened. The creature of your fear is still here. You have disadvantage on all ability checks. Or am I here? Ability checks, attack rolls while the source of your fear is within line of sight. You cannot move willingly closer to the source of your fear.
Okay, so I do have disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's still a 19 though.
Still 19? Okay. Easily to do. You kind of like look it over. There's something to these that are very primordial nature, reminiscent of oozes of some kind. But there's something even more bestial and primal to their form. You look and they twist, and as they hear like chirping overhead, you do see a bird cut across, and you start seeing like feathering begin to be emulated from their side. Their bodies begin to twist and move, and these kind of like cloth look goes to it, and you quickly see color begin to bleed out across their forms.
Emulate anything they see.
You see one of them kind of turns and views in your direction, and its face, or what would amount to its head, begins to slowly seep in a heavy-looking socket. Any actions?
I still say we let them take form. These aren't our enemies.
All right. You wait for it.
I will, but I don't control everyone.
Celeste. Jonesy. Morgan. Orville. Orville said, "My name's Paul." That's between y'all. Buddy is cowering behind the group. Like, knees to Jesus at this point. Like, crouched down real low, shaking.
Buddy, why don't you hop inside the
No, I don't want to
there.
move. I'm good here.
Okay.
I am a rock. I am a rock. And Buddy
You can
puts
turn into rocks.
he puts his head on the ground and just like is trying to be a boulder, like trying to like just like ball up and just like fall over. It's like and is like stricken with fear and probably like on the last few semblances of his sanity. But yeah, any actions, or you guys want to wait? Waiting is an action here. That's fine.
If they don't seem aggressive, like I'm not taking an action.
Yeah.
Oh, stand at the ready though.
All right. You stand at the ready, Celeste, Morgan. You see them warping and twisting in front of you unnaturally. You start hearing crunching sounds and kind of like this, like almost like bricklaying, like stone against stone, bone against bone, kind of crunching sound.
They seem aggressive though? No, right?
No. They've made no like jutting or like jumping towards Cobalt Jones. You are insightful enough to know that like they did put a hand when they were formed on Cobalt Jones and did nothing with it. Had it been aggressive, it probably would have made an attack then when it had this element of surprise.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Morgan?
I'm just gonna wait.
Wait, okay. You all watch for the next about 30 seconds. They begin to twist, looking across your forms and visual cognizance. At the end of 30 seconds, you see their forms solidify. They twist and turn, and they actually form like heads. There are feathering to them, this gray white body replaced now with a bit of pigmentation. Their hair is twisted and, unlike tendrils, has now formed into a semblance or mockery of hair that is now folded and braided, much like how Morgan and Celeste will often braid hair or things of that nature. You can see that their clothes are bright colors, much as many of you wear, and their skin has this, in addition to like fake feathering, also seems to have this kind of black hue, this tainted, almost like blackened ink, this dark crestfallen blood that is like sunken into their flesh. They each stare at you with paired white eyes, and you guys see these creatures. They each kind of curiously cock their one pale white eye in your direction, and you hear this kind of like popping sound as the one in the front with a kind of like pierced septum, Morgan of which you see that kind of pierced septum is the same design and make of the Minotaur that was on the edge of the forest, who is no longer to be seen. They kind of like, it turns and looks at you, and Cobalt Jones, as it bears down on you and it opens its mouth for the first time, you see large swaths of flesh and skin tear and rip open, and a maw of just various unshapen and ununiform teeth are in its gullet, like emanating all the way down to its throat, as it doesn't truly have a grasp of what should be in a mouth at this point. But you hear it go,
"Then enemy or peace."
Did that sound like peace?
Peace.
Buddy cries from the ground, "I think it's a peace."
Yeah, peace.
Peace. Relax and sass of that.
You see Buddy's ear twitch, and he goes, they, Buddy like turns his back to the group and goes, they're talking in Primordial. Does anyone speak Primordial?
No.
Oh, shit. And then you see the two of them turn and like twist and look at each other. And there's like this like acknowledgement between the two of them. Then they turn and look to the group. And there's like this like strangeness to it. And you hear,
"Give time. Peace. Purse."
and you see their like feathery winged arm outreaches directly to you, Cobalt Jones.
Do they want my cool axe?
They do not reach for the axe. They just seem to like have a hand out extended that is literally like a couple of fingers and then feathers and a wing.
I will go in for the handshake.
You see the grasp of your hand before retreating, and like it almost seems pain to touch you, and you hear,
"No, wait. See, no, Jones, others."
and it turns and reaches a hand out to the rest of the group and kind of just gestures to one of them.
"See, wait. Time."
Does anyone who's very insightful have an idea of what they might want us to do?
Anyone can roll insight if you'd like.
I'm trained in that.
Go right ahead.
I will do it as well.
Aren't they saying what we said?
They're mimicking only the words that they've heard so far.
23.
23.
I got a crit.
Either way, so the pair of you kind of come to the conclusion. They're trying to communicate as best as they are able, but they lack the vocabulary to do so. There seems to be something that they want out of the group, and it seems that they want to come in contact with one of you. For whatever reason, they cannot come in contact with Kobold Jones. A crit would tell you holding that axe probably makes them unable to touch Kobold Jones without it being very painful.
I think
Would I know to what extent, like why they want to do that? No, right?
Not really.
I
Okay.
have an idea, and I'm willing to be the test subject as per usual.
Mhm.
If I get engulfed into anything, hopefully they learn to communicate from it.
What? What are you talking about? What
Don't
do you
worry.
mean?
I'm just whatever
Do you think
happens,
that's a good idea?
no one attack. Whatever
Uh,
happens, no one
I
attack.
can't promise that.
Can JJ
That's
see any of this going on?
If you
from
peek your
her
head
bubble?
out, I don't think you can see through the bubble, right? Or no, you guess you can from the inside, right?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
see from
yeah.
inside.
You see these two like large creatures forming in front of your friends, and then finally come to fruition and be these like strange looking, like nearly 6.5 foot tall Adonis like creatures that are mimicking legitimately everything they've seen in this party. Bright colored clothes, heavy hues of dark purples and blues, feathers from birds overhead, blackened stains from the various makeup you're more than likely sure of, like tries to attempting to come into pigment, jewelry to seem more relatable, pointed elf ears that then end in feathering and strange, like almost like ill-fitting design. They are whole and yet seemingly not focused.
Okay, she'll just go to the threshold of the area she knew to be horrible
Sure, yeah,
and just kind of watch.
sure. You watch from the edge. They all kind of like turn and look.
Celeste, my mind is strong. Let's see if I can give them a peek of understanding. And I'm going to walk over and I'm going to
You do nothing.
accept their hand.
You don't.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to walk over. I'll hold my hand out.
You hold your hand out. And they kind of like slowly look and turn and look to each other and groan and grumble. And you hear them kind of speak between them. And you hear Buddy kind of call out and go, "Host, host, they want a host."
A host. I'll kind of take my hand back and think.
They
A host.
live in forever?
Buddy's like chattering jaws at this point. I don't know. They're speaking to each other, and they're
What are they
deciding. They want to. I don't know. Talk, I think, is the word for that. Ritual or something. No, it's a tribute. Contact, I think. Contact.
Which one? Buddy, you've just said like 50 words.
It's hard.
Just
Okay,
be
I'm a
able to
little
speak through
under
us.
pressure.
It's fine. It's.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my hand out again and keep it out.
All right. Anyone else want to do anything?
JJ will slowly start coming up behind the group.
Sure. You start slowly approaching. You step into the once hollowed ground, and no effect. You feel fine. There's no difference from the air outside to the air inside.
Okay, she'll continue until she's up behind pretty much Vel.
You get to behind Vel. You see Bartholomew turn and look and see what's going on, and kind of like turn and look to Velithil and go, Miss Downvey, no, I don't think that's right. I'll do it if no one else wants to. but I don't think a hero should die here.
What do we have to do?
Yeah, I guess I don't understand either.
And the terror of them continue to like pop, and you hear this like hissing, almost like ancient language talk between them. They kind of go. They can't touch the wielder of the Bane, which I'm assuming is the sword, but they are looking for some other person to inhabit.
Inhabit for what, though?
I
Can
wish I
you
knew.
ask them for what? Or would that be rude to them?
Uh,
I could if you want to know, I guess.
yeah, just maybe stand behind me when you ask, though.
I'm not
No?
moving from here. I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
You see Bartholomew kind of like turn and look to them and call out, and you hear this kind of like and like tries to emulate primordial speech, this like very much elemental heavy and ooze heavy language that is some of the very first forms of language, this very like gruff and like just unnatural sounding voicing to it. And they kind of turn and like whip their heads both at Bartholomew before turning and looking at each other, then turning back. And they speak in primordial, and kind of call back to this. And Bartholomew kind of like nods his head a bit and goes, they appreciate that the common tongue is known. They are asking if we are worshippers of the ever-shifting one, or if we are not.
JJ will take out her deck and flip through until she gets to.
Oh, broke it.
Oh,
We're good.
the card with Guanadar?
Guanadar?
Yeah.
You kind of look across and attempt to like figure out like what the what the card would be, and you kind of like present this like image in curiosity, and the pair of them point and look, and there's this twisting hiss of sounds and communication. They go, no, they don't worship the ooze father. Something about the banished one, the rejected son. I don't know any of that at all.
Although, do you-
history.
Would this pop any religion dinglings?
In your time, no. You know 3 gods, and the rest are demon lords or horrible abominations that don't often get worshipped in the Everwield.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Can I do a history or arcana?
History, probably not. Arcana, maybe. Trying to identify what these are.
16.
16. You look them over. They're able to change their shape. They're clearly like primordial shifting creatures. You've heard tale with a 16 of creatures that are similar to this, but nowhere near on this like level or scope. That are often the children of witches and fey beings. The word changeling is something thrown around. But this is even further still from that. It is like kind of it's kind of attributing like, if a changeling is an elf, then whatever these are is the archfey. That's kind of like the parallel with a 16 that you would come to.
Yeah.
JJ will just kind of slowly reach her hand out.
JJ, are you sure? I mean, I've held my hand out for a while now, and then just kind of...
Well, maybe they've got a choice. But
What about your kid? Are you sure?
You look and
my kid. He's
Bartholomew speaks to the group and goes, they're waiting for an answer. Do any of you worship the banished one, the ever-changing one?
No. Only know the weavers.
Well,
He
yeah,
kind of like immediately responds and goes, and like you see like the pause, and at this point your translator finally hits that point where there is no word for this in whatever the core language is, and just says like weaver in common, and then reverts back to primordial because there's no word for that, but then like speaks and is like seemingly trying to express what is happening here. In doing so,
could Orville like produce his staff and like hold it up so that they could see it, but
sure.
like not in a menacing way?
Yeah, like you hold it up, but like not ignite it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hold it out to them, and you see
Okay,
Bartholomew
here,
look to you
Weaver.
and go, what, Mr. Jones, what are we trying to,
This is a thing of the Weavers. I wasn't sure if that would give.
okay, it's just show and tell, of course. And like just starts trying to convey that, and you see the pair of them look at each other and then look and like curiously kind of twist. You see each of them, their necks begin to elongate and twist and move very close to you, their bodies staying still, but now you have this kind of like peering, almost like snake-like neck that twists out. Morgan, you look, and behind them there are snakes that are slowly like slithering their way into this grove. They seem to be already adapting to these creatures. They turn and look at each other and twist a bit and then move back to where they were resting before. They turn and like they draw their attention to Bartholomew, who's able to communicate with them, and kind of goes back and forth for a bit. Buddy looks to Cobalt Jones and goes, Mr. Jones, there are individuals here are curious what your demand is, and that you will take the Bane with you, if that is what you intend to do with it.
Are you saying they want to know what I want from them, like what their part of the deal is that I saved them?
They are curious at it. Apparently, they the word they're using is offering, but the way they're using it is from more like an ancient subtext of worship, or what you would offer to a lord or savior. So they're offering what is needed for tribute, I believe the word is. It's been so long since I've used Primordial, I apologize.
I don't get it. So like they want me to offer someone up to them?
No. They're asking what you want as an offering, I think.
Oh, like I'm the big guy in the sky?
Currently, I think so. Yeah. I think that's probably where we're the long and short of it here.
Didn't we have to like kill Handsome Man? Do I ask him that? What do you guys think?
That seems awful and macabre, but I mean, we could whatever you want.
I mean,
Ask
that's
for
buddy. You
Zed.
do understand that's what we're here to do, right? Just kill the paladin guy.
I do.
Knight?
I just asking someone to do that for you seems like. I mean, you do whatever you want. I'll tell you I'll tell them whatever you want me to tell them. We have
They
a
also
combined enemy.
are rather unique, almost exalted types of changeling, far beyond anything that I could have ever even heard of before. They may have a lot to offer if you're willing to ask for whatever you want.
I mean, I don't know.
You could totally get a corn dog.
You could get a corn dog.
That's a good use of wish powers. As
This
my
has
first
been a
godly
use-
decree.
The cackle of Orville in the background is the best thing.
I will have my famous yearly holiday tradition will be corn dog feasts. Everyone eats corn dogs in the streets.
Okay, for real though, I think maybe asking them to help us at least take down this guy, then we could get the other thing that he was going after, and two birds, one stone, as they would say. A being other people, not us. Or just ask for corn dogs. I mean, sure thing.
Yeah, Jones did. Jones, were you the one that pulled that out?
Yeah.
I'm still holding it in his hand.
mean, you did make you did save him.
Yeah, but like the only thing I want is to not be here anymore. So
Don't
What?
ask him for anything.
Mhm.
Goodwill.
Assistance with getting our job done so we can get out.
So we asked them to come with us and defeat this this person we're here to slay.
or I could just tell him no tribute required. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know that's gonna fly. Tell you the truth.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
they seem pretty heavy on the tribute thing. They used the word like 4 times. I don't think things come free where they're from.
I see.
Up to you, Purple Koosh.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Jones, please. You see, like, again, they begin twisting and, like, moving, and they can't quite sit perfectly still, but you see these, like, one pale, dolorous eye that each of them possesses kind of twist and look in your direction. And, again, while taking, like, humanoid shapes and forms, they are still very much almost, like, not humanoid at all, and they have no concept of what being humanoid is. So you look, and, like, underneath these, like, coverings of hair that they've almost like mimicked and like ripped off from Velithil, it looks as if it's actually just hiding a blank part of the face. There's no other eye. Like, they are just so far gone from what a humanoid thing might be.
Buddy, can you ask them what they used to tribute?
Sure, yes, of course. So blends and like starts conveying your message. They turn, look to each other. There seems to be a discussion. They turn, look, relay it back to Buddy. And he goes, previously, organic material, through which they have amassed, themselves. They do offer sincerest apologies for a friend of ours that they needed. I'm not quite sure what that's about.
A friend of ours that they needed? Needed
Uh,
for what? What do you mean?
I'm not quite sure. They said that there was an incident, and they were in need of resources, foundation. The words are intermingled. Sorry. But the way they describe it, I think they are typically used to like sacrifice.
Sorry, are you trying to say they sacrificed Tabby?
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't
Is
seen her.
Bovine missing?
Yeah, Morgan very clearly is just like, I know what's missing. There's one very hungry cow person that does no longer exist. And there are a number of markings upon them that would match the piercings and such that the bovine fella had. So what do I tell them, Mr. Jones? Ball's in your court here. Unless you want to hand that very scary thing to someone else, because that seems to be what they're afraid of.
No, I like the shiny sword. I'll keep it.
Okay, well, so, you know, they're just sitting there waiting, being very fucking scary. Whatever you want, honestly. We could ask for a smoothie, or, I don't know, to go take a dump in the woods. Honestly, I just don't, I don't care what they do. I'm just, I just don't want to be here right now anymore.
Does anyone want some like magical goodies? I think that might be more like harm than helpful. We get cursed on accident.
I could ask for that. Do we want a tribute of a magical goodie? Is that what I'm going to...
I mean,
Everyone here is cursed.
I mean, sure, but, whatever. Maybe they have, I don't know, a stick up their ass that grants wishes. I have no idea, Mr. Jones. What do you want me to ask for, please, so they can stop staring at me? And you see, like, one of them has an eye that's, like, coming out of its socket and, like, twisting and worming around. The perceptive of you are, like, looking around, and there are worms burrowing up from the ashen earth.
So we're against asking them for their help in our...
I am
entirely
pro
up to Jones.
asking whatever the heck we need to ask them so they stop with all the scary shit.
I guess just ask them if they can help us defeat the guy we gotta defeat.
Okay.
Help us on our mission.
Okay. And you see Bartholomew, like, with stuttering jaw, kind of, like, try to convey to these creatures what's going on. The pair of them turn and look, and there's, like, this, like, strange, almost symbiosis. You see, like, the pair of them kind of look and, like, curiously seem to, like, strangely look at one another with these one kind of glowing orbs. You see their skin ripples, like, almost like goosebumps run up their body, their actual full body. And you see these small little needles of flesh dart back and forth and tap across each other, almost seeming to, like, either test or play with something. You're not quite sure what's happening before they turn and they speak their return to Bartholomew. He looks to you and goes, they say that provided it is a solemn offering, they will unmake anyone that you tell them to this one time.
Do we want him to do it to the bad guy? I mean, we need his head or something, right?
I think if he's unmade, that's going to be fine enough.
Is the lich guy gonna know that?
I think he's watching us.
All right. Guess tell him to unmake our foe.
All right. Sure. And he kind of turns and, like, starts talking and, like, kind of ad nauseum, and they seem to, like, curious, and there's, like, a good bit of, like, couple minutes of conversation back and forth. And you see them kind of, Bartholomew looks and goes, yes, they will, they say that they will follow you, and they will do as you say. I just need to point out your foe. So I guess they're going to follow us for a bit today until we arrive.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
All right, great. And turns and, like, talks and speaks of this. And you see the pair of them kind of, like, turn and nod, like, curiously. And they start like solidifying a bit, like, start more of their form becomes, like, seemingly permanent instead of this constantly morphing and amorphous form. They seem like curiously being able to more or less kind of inhabit a more solid, controlled state the longer that this kind of the conversation goes on. Bartholomew relates your message back to them. There is, like, a nod and an agreement, and then they both in unison speak back to Bartholomew. He goes, they agree and they accept these terms, Wielder of Bane.
All right, cool.
Cool. Great. So, all great then. And, like, you see the pair of them, like, turn and twist, and, like, each of them kind of, like, looms over Kobold Jones curiously, like, watching and, like, waiting and kind of, like, looking for any perceivable type thing they can discern of your form. And with that, you all hear a grunting howl as a large lupine woman jumps out from the edge of the bush and kind of turns and looks and snarls and looks to you all and goes,
"Are you in danger?"
Oh, these are new friends that we got.
You see the pair of them as you like turn and look at her and then come back to them. They're both standing like they're gone. Their regular forms are gone. There are 2 copies of Kobold Jones, pale, white, and black, stood on either side of Kobold Jones. And you hear, no, they're new friends. They're back. And they both imitate exactly 1-to-1 Kobold Jones. You hear the,
Are you ready to leave then?
Yes, I believe we are.
Yeah.
they, like, slowly, any step that Kobold Jones makes, they make as well. Yes, Orville, what do we need?
As we set out,
Mhm.
can I lean over to Jones and just be like, "Hey man, you should make him say some funny words like butthole."
The funniest of words, like butthole. All right, then. So I think that's where we're going to stop for the night.
I'm just gonna note that I'm casting Mage Armor as we leave.
All right, easy cast of the Mage Armor. Let's see here.
I say lots of dirty words.
All of the dirty words. All right, so we'll call it here. So, for everyone here at Second Wake, and of course the Seekers of Galanti, myself, we do thank you for sticking with us throughout the broadcast of our program here tonight. Next week, the Seekers of Galanti will follow their dear friend Tabby deep into the heart of the Feywild, past the forest into this so-called lake. Truly now, with friends in tow, only the best things can be discerned or viewed. Truly, we thank you all for tuning in, and we'll look forward to next week. For those of you subscribed to the channel, prepare for a raid to a random artist we found. I don't know, they're doing cutboard things. That seems cool. Anyway, I've been Montserrat. They've been the Seekers of Galanti. This guy's name's Kareem Zamir. We'll see you next Monday for more Dungeons & Dragons Second Wake. Peace out.